And that is my wrong loop. Sorry, folks. And hold on. And that is my cue to start the show. Welcome to another show of the Hard Rock and Sports Show, live from my top Hard Rock and Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday night, November the 10th, in the good year of our Lord, 2022. And it is dark. It is semi-warm, and it is the holiday season. And thank God for that. We love the holidays here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. And we're looking forward to a great holiday couple of months here. That's right. We've already kicked it off. And I'm waiting for Jeff to hang in, to pop up. But we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Lots and lots to talk about. We'll talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the Giants, the Jets, the NFL in general. We'll talk a little free agent baseball. Mets signed their closer. They have DeGrom out there. The Yankees have Judge out there and Rizzo. What do they do at shortstop? We'll get a little bit to that. We'll talk a lot of football tonight. We got our good buddy Jeff Westlake. That's right. For all you guys who hung in there with us last week, you know, had some technical difficulties, and we lost Jeff Westlake in the middle of our interview, where we found out he will be continuing the Gods. That's right. The one and only The Gods will continue with our buddy Jeff Westlake in control, or at least at the helm. And we'll find out more about that tonight when we do that all over again. So we'll stick around. We got plenty to do. Waiting for Jeff to pop up right here. In the meantime, I want to get a little political. That's right. I got to get a little political, folks. For a few minutes, you're going to have to indulge me because this is the bully pulpit. And I got to get some stuff off my chest. So I've decided from this point on, if you voted Democrat, if you didn't vote, or you voted independent, you're on your own. I no longer want to hear you complain about inflation, economy. I don't want to hear about crime. You have no right at this point. You have no right to talk about any of these things because you perpetuate, that's right, you continue the same bullshit. Now, why do I say that? You say, Tom, what's the difference who's in office? And I say, you know what? Maybe you're right. What's the difference who's in office? They're all full of shit. They're all looking to get in your pocket. They all want to do that. They all want to get ahead and move forward with their own agenda. I agree with you on that. But here's what I'll say. Some of you are old enough to know, and you're going to have to bear with me because I really don't care. Everybody can tune out. They can go home. They can do whatever they want to do. But I'm going to get my 2 minutes in because you know what? My name's on the show along with Jeff's, and I'm going to have my 2 minutes of I'm going to say what I want. So stay with me. So I'll say this. For all of you who say, well, it doesn't matter who's in office, let me debunk that. Let me debunk that. Let me refute that. Let me tell you you're full of shit. And that's why. So I was a huge fan growing up of Mr. Ed Koch, Democrat, Mr. Mayor of New York City, one of the most well-liked people in the world, but a horrendous mayor. Democrat. Okay, so from the 70s, as far as back as I can remember, mid-70s to the 80s, almost into the 90s. Oh, no, I'm sorry, into the late 80s, Ed Koch was mayor. Then came along David Dinkins. Oh, Dave Dinkins, nice guy. Mr. Tennis, horrendous. I'm going to skip forward 20 years. Bill de Blasio, otherwise known as Captain Bozo himself. We had 8 years of that moron, and the city has suffered. Again, now we got Eric Adams, another Democrat. Okay, Mr. Popularity. Let me go to the parties and wear all the fancy clothes and talk a good game. What does this have to do with it, Tom? Well, here's what I'll tell you. You can notice that during all of these different mayors that I just mentioned, Democrat mayors, all and the like, the city suffered economically. Crime is way up. People are fleeing the city. Yet, what was the one good period in this city in the last 30 or 40 years? Let's call it 45. Oh, yeah, when we had 2 Republican mayors. Rudy Giuliani saved this city, turned it around, and built it into what it was before DeBozo. And Mike Bloomberg, who, again, a suspect Republican, was smart enough to say, hey, I ain't screwing this up. It's going good. I'll get to run an extra 4 years. I'll spend 12 years running the city, whose biggest problem was making sure we didn't have too much of a Slurpee, kept the salt out of the diet. When you know when things are going good, when people are bothering you about too much salt in the diet. Yet, we keep voting for these Democrats. Kathy Hochul gets in again. How did Kathy Hochul get reelected or get elected? She wasn't reelected. She was given a spot when the other fake Democrat, the fake Italian guy, Cuomo, got bounced out. But again, how did Kathy Hochul get? She was on TV for a week saying, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no crime. There's no crime. Just because people get pushed getting pushed onto the subway tracks and hit in the head, who cares? But people voted for this moron and put her in office. The people in Pennsylvania voted for John Fetterman. The guy couldn't put two sentences together. People in Pennsylvania voted for a dead guy because he was a Democrat. He's dead, and they voted for him. We got a moron in the office. So here's what I say, folks. You've hastened my getting out of this city. I want out of here like it was yesterday. I can't for the life of me think how anybody voted for a Democrat at this moment in time. If you did, that's your right. I support it. I respect it, but I can't even remember. I can't even figure it. So if you went to the polls and you pulled the handle and you said Democrat or you went, I'm writing in Snoopy's name or the Hulk or somebody else's name, good for you. That's what I could say. Good for you. But you have no more right to speak to me about the economy, gas prices. You can't talk to me about crime. You can't talk to me because you voted for it. You asked for us to keep these morons in office. I got it. The Republicans, they might not be any better. But I'll tell you this. The only 20-year period in New York City where we had some good times, who was mayor? Who was the governor? A guy by the name of George Pataki. A Republican. The country. You can hate Trump all you want. Hate him. I don't care. I get it. But a Republican gave us the 4 best years we've had here in a long, long time. Going back to Slick Willie. A Democrat. Billy Clinton. I voted for him the second time. So I'm not anti-Democrat. I'm an independent. I just vote Republican. For the first time in my life, folks, I walked into the booth and I pressed the button just because the guy had a Republican next to his name. Because 90% of you, that's what you did out there. So if you're happy with it, great. I'm happy for you too. If you think for the life of you that you did the right thing, doesn't matter who's in office, then why not press the Republican button? Because the only time we've had good times in this city, in New York City, a Republican was mayor and a Republican was governor. Tell me I'm wrong. And I'm telling you flat out, if you think this moron, the mumbler in chief is doing a decent job, he's happy. We got $4 a gallon gas again. And if you don't think we're going to have $5 and better for the next 2 years before that race, before the presidential race, you're not paying attention. Inflation's up, gas prices are up, and the moron thinks he's doing a good job. He's not even sure he's not at a baseball game. But we keep voting these people in. Guys, do what you want. I got my 2 cents in. I feel better. We're going to get to sports and music now. But from this point on, I will not entertain any conversations. If you want to complain, do it to someone else. I don't care. I want out of this city as fast as I possibly can. Because if this is what you want, I don't want to live in it. I got to go to work every day in New York City. And when you drive down the street and you watch guys pooping on the sidewalk and peeing and standing there and there's nothing but panhandlers and homeless and guys harassing people, if you think that's the way New York should be, I want out. Pay attention to what's happening in Florida, folks. Pay attention because that's the last place in the world that you can go and be free and do what you want. They did a great job down there. That guy's going to be president. I hope he's president in 2024 because Ron DeSantis gets my vote. That's the way you run a state. Not like Kathy Hochul, not like Murphy, and not like the moron in chief that we got in the White House. Having said all that, I love you all, and I can't wait to start the show. There you go, my man. That's preach it. That's the way it should be. Joe and Mike, I'm telling you, people can vote who want. I'm heading to Florida as soon as I possibly can. The sooner the better for me. But let's get the show started. There's only one way to do that, and that's by bringing on my man, Mr. Jeff Talwinski. What's up, F3?
Oh my fucking God!
Sorry, man.
I was hoping for a power outage or some shit over there.
I had to
it's
get it off
time
my
to
chest.
stop. This is what now I get my couple minutes.
Sure, go ahead. I don't care.
All right.
You're welcome to it.
One.
Yep.
Yes, it's bullshit what happened, but you know what? It happened.
Absolutely.
And you know what else too?
Go ahead.
We will persevere. We will live. We will survive. All right. Whatever happened. It's happened in the past. It'll continue to happen. Yep. It's not going to stop. All right. I'll tell you one good thing.
Go ahead.
All right. DeSantis won convincingly.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And if everybody was smart, they would step aside and push this man through.
I agree with you 100%. I'm a Trump guy, and I would tell you I'd vote for DeSantis over Trump right now.
Because fucking Trump trying to do what he's going to do is going to fuck up everything. And that's why half the fucking people didn't fucking win.
You're probably right.
Definitely right. Listen, Dr. Oz, really?
Well, I mean, did you see the alternative? Would you have voted for that guy? Come on, seriously. I'd vote for statue.
I wouldn't have voted for him, and I heard him, and I'm surprised that they even let him run. But
I agree.
Dr. Oz,
sometimes
the alternative to the alternative isn't the answer either, bro.
And I got you, but again, I'm with you.
And as far as the dead guy that got voted in Pennsylvania, just for the record, that's not the first time that's happened. Not in just Pennsylvania, in the country overall. Other people that have been dead were voted into office. And that's just supposed to show you the person that they were running against
was horrendous.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Jeff. You couldn't be speaking more from the truth. I love Trump. I'd vote for him for Pope if he ran for it. But
look here, Matt. Look what Matt's saying. You're right. Herschel Walker was sweating like Mike Tyson at a spelling bee, with Doug Flutie standing there fucking clapping at him. It looks so gay. Absolutely.
But again, all we're doing is perpetuating the same cycle. I get that, and I know, Jeff, I know it's the ideology. Sometimes, if you look at it from an outside point, you say, hey, the city's been a disaster for a good part of 50 years, right? We'd agree the 70s and 80s weren't great, and the last 12 years haven't been great. But what was great? 20 years with two Republicans were in office. At some point, you got to go, maybe we should be putting more Republicans.
Who are the Republicans that you're talking about?
Giuliani and Bloomberg.
Bloomberg was a fucking idiot.
I got you. For 20 years, but for 12 years, we were perfect here.
Wait it out now.
Go ahead.
I work for the city. I go to work to make money.
Yeah.
I really don't give a fuck about certain things, okay? Except the money that I make so I could survive and feed my family. When I worked for the city and Michael Bloomberg was mayor, I wasn't making any money. He fucking didn't give us raises. We got dick. Okay,
I got you, and I understand that.
Terrible mayor who wanted to tell you how much you can eat and drink and what you could buy.
But Jeff, how the city was prosperous. You can walk the streets in Manhattan. I got your point. There's a lot of bad with him, and I don't disagree. I'm not a big fan of Bloomberg, but overall, and again, I get it from your narrow point of view, and it's not narrow in the sense all you care about is making money and but for the overall of the city of New York. A Democrat has been the ruination of this city. Now, again, I know de Blasio.
You're 100% right. 100% right. But you want to know something? The city's still there.
I got you.
Into the ocean. It didn't disappear. It didn't crumble. It didn't go on fire.
I got you.
And it'll be here in another 25 years, too.
But being here and being a disaster and being here and being a place where you can walk in New York City is a different story, Jeff. I get your point. And the short term, I agree with you. But 10 years from now, do you think it's going to be better than it is right now? No, it can't possibly.
No, it's liable to be worse than it is in 10 years.
I agree with you. And
but you know what? You did something that other people can't do right now. You left. So, and yes, you go back and forth and you work in the city.
Yeah, I got you.
But you can also get a job someplace else. You don't have to stay in the
city.
Again,
what this election has done is speed up the process of me wanting to leave this area and go someplace where there's at least rational thinking. I mean,
well, you like to think rational thinking.
Well, think about it. At the very least, did you hear the? I don't know if you paid attention to it, but I listened to some of DeSantis's speech, and the very end of his speech, it tells me exactly where I want to. He said, "Florida is the place where woke went to die," and that to me is all I care about. I want to live in a place where they follow the facts. crime should not be celebrated, and people can live their lives a certain way. New York City is not. Jeff, I don't mind the Democrat. Again, I voted Democrat plenty of times in my life.
No, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. But the thing is that what I am saying is that we've gone through it before and we'll get through it again.
But okay? I don't know
that I can't believe is that people actually voted for Kathy Hochul.
Right.
Is the law of getting an abortion being legal more important than getting this woman out of fucking office? You've got to be kidding me.
Well, Jeff, think about it. Abortion's not illegal. Abortion's still legal in New York. The only thing the federal government said was the federal government should not mandate to each state whether abortion is legal or illegal.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of people went out and voted.
Oh, absolutely.
Democrat because of that.
Of course they did. I agree with you 110%. And that's on the Democrats.
When the wrong thing come up at the wrong time.
Yes.
It sways a lot of people.
Oh, again.
Now, I ain't going to mention names.
Yeah.
But somebody that I know.
I think we both know.
No, you know.
Oh,
no, somebody else that I know. You know them, but not like I do.
Okay.
And this person, if they even voted, went and voted like that because of their beliefs and what they feel as though should be their right to choose, and nobody should impede that. Okay. Yeah. So now when they don't know all of the facts,
right,
they're going to run and they're going to go vote for what they think is the right thing. And I don't agree with it, but that's their decision, especially when they don't know what they're doing, talking about, thinking about, whatever.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm with you. And my wife was telling me about somebody she knows on through social media, and the woman completely voted strictly because of abortion. Didn't have any clue about what the real rules are and what the facts are, and then came out and said, we can't find any work. My husband's in the fossil fuel business, and he can't get any work, and now we're on welfare. And I'm going, you voted against the people who were trying to fix the fact that your husband's out of work. Now you're on welfare because you voted for an abortion that you could still have. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And I'll say this. Oh, okay, I got you. And at the end of the day, here's the problem I have.
You got who? Me?
I saw your thing. Yeah. And again, I think the biggest problem that they both have is simple. I think nobody is saying that you can't. I think the thing is it can't be open-ended, and you can't put a restriction on it. So it needs to be, hey, how many weeks? Like, at what point does the baby have a right to live?
Listen, you could beat that. You could beat that with a dead horse.
Right. I don't think anybody's totally against banning abortion. I think people just want to have rules.
The thing is, if you watch the commercials that were on TV about Zeldin, and I don't know if you saw any of the New York.
I did. Sure. Yeah.
Thing, okay. Yeah. And what did they say? He's banned abortion, even in cases of rape and incest. He's banned abortion. So you watch those commercials, you think that there's that there's no way. God forbid your daughter goes out, your wife goes out and gets raped, and then she comes home and she's pregnant, and then there's nothing. She has to have that baby.
Right.
And it's bullshit.
Of course it is.
They lie.
Absolutely.
And they prey upon the stupid.
Because
when the stupid go out in masses.
Yes.
And if the numbers ain't there, it is what it is. And the numbers, I heard one person on Staten Island or on Facebook wrote there was like 68,000 people came out to vote in one of the things on Staten Island, one of the political races on Staten Island.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it? For what? PTA, mom? 68,000 people? Who voted?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't mean to drag the show down or whatever, this and that, the other, but I'm very passionate about it. And I mean that I'd love the city to be well. And again, when you turn around and you keep bringing in the same type of person and expecting something different to happen, it just doesn't happen. And at some point we got to go, okay, we all understand the abortion thing, but we can't afford anything. But before I got to do one thing before we go any further.
Before I want to just say one thing. I want to reiterate, Matt, what you're saying. I agree with you, but the thing is, Well, again, who that is?
That's Lucas wanted to stop in and say hi to everybody and to say today's his birthday. Today is happy birthday, Lucas Day.
Oh, happy birthday. How old?
He's 12 years old today.
And he's looking nice and spry. He's looking happy.
That's it. He had his happy birthday turkey. He had a little bit of his a little puppuccino type thing, and he's happy. He just wanted to say happy birthday and do his little wiggle dance and say, "Pop, you didn't come see me for my birthday, Pop. You didn't see me. Today's my birthday." So bye, Lucas. Bye, everybody. There you go. And that's it. So, all right. So,
well, anyway, real quick, I just wanted to say, what Matt, a lot what you say is 100% true, but you know what? They're never, ever, ever going to agree where the cutoff line is for that.
Yeah.
They're never going to agree.
No, of course not.
My wife, who does sonograms on high-risk pregnancy, could probably tell me like when they could first pick up the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And these people might not even know they're pregnant at that point in time.
Right. Now, again,
if you're saying that once there's a heartbeat or whatever, that's it. It's murder after that. I don't know when that is. Could be a week, could be a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whenever it is, it might be too late, and you might not even be able to know that you're pregnant at that point in time.
I think at this point, here's what I have to say. I am against abortions personally, but I don't feel I should tell anybody. But I don't feel I should tell anybody else what to do with their body. So I am in the middle there. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it, but I don't think I should stop you. I also think that I don't think the federal government should be involved in it, and it should come down to the states. And the states, the majority of people go to the polls and they pull a button and push a button and they say, we believe in it. And if you vote for it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But I also think that if you're going to have it, the baby at some point has a right. If I went, Jeff, if a woman was pregnant and I stabbed her in the stomach and killed the baby, I would go to jail for murder. At what point does the same thing apply to the mother? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to come up with that. And I don't want to turn the show into politics, and I apologize. But I'm just saying this. I'm for people making their own choices, but I do think that there has to be some sort of rules involved that at some point that person in the belly is a live human being who has a right to survive. What point that is?
Of course, but the thing is, once again, is you're never ever going to get two people to sit down and come up with.
Yes, I agree.
When is that line crossed and when is it not?
You're 100% right.
I'm going to ask my wife right now, at what age can they pick up a heartbeat? Hold on. Okay. Sharon. Yeah. What age could they pick up the heartbeat of a baby in the mother?
5 to 6 weeks.
I can't hear you.
5 to 6 weeks, she said.
5 to 6. So 5 to 6 weeks. And how old? What is the soonest that somebody could know that they're pregnant?
Right around 5 weeks.
5 or 6 weeks?
Well, no, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks with a pregnancy test.
So it's 3 or 4 weeks that they could find out that they're pregnant.
Yeah.
So they might not even be exhibiting signs by that point in time.
Listen, I agree.
You know what I mean?
No, dude, I'm with you. Again, all I'm saying.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for it.
No, I got you. I got your point, and it's a valid one. Again, let's take this show back to where it's supposed to be. Hard Rocket Sports, Chef and Tom here on a Thursday night. We appreciate you putting up with us, and I was very passionate about this election because I'd like to see this country and the city especially do really well. Like I said, Matt, I'm heading with you to Florida. We're gonna hang out with my boy Mike Weissman and the boys. I'm with you sooner than later. But Jeff, let's get the show going. Jeff, how was your week?
It was a good week. I was away last week for a couple days. That was nice.
By the way, thank you and your wife. They took my wife and I out to dinner last Saturday night. We had a great time hanging out with you guys. The food was good and the company was even better. So thank you.
Yeah, well, listen, that was a good place. I'd like to go there again.
Well, anytime.
And we shouldn't use birthdays as the only reason to see.
I'm with you 100%. But listen, let's keep the show on. My dad's been hanging on long enough. We got Jeff Westlake. We got Jeff Westlake coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about his new version of the Gods. Thanks to John God for setting the whole thing up. We're going to talk a lot of football tonight. We got some baseball to talk about. Lots to get to. I want to talk a little bit about hockey. and only from the standpoint of bullying. And bear with me because it's just the same old woke bullshit. Hang around, stay around. We got plenty to get to. Thanks for popping up tonight with us. Holidays are here. I'm going to talk to Jeff about Charlie Brown and Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. We'll talk about that in a few seconds. In the meantime, let's get my dad on. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. What's up,
there,
Pop?
Mr. Florio?
How's everything? Good.
You saw your fuzzy grandson?
We didn't know. Nobody told us. You should have told us.
Yeah, it's his birthday.
I feel so bad. I would have bought him a little birthday cake. He'd ate it too.
He would have ate it for sure.
I feel so bad.
He'll see you over the weekend, so don't worry.
Yeah, we'll see him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I'm looking at the Giant game.
Yep.
Sunday, and they're playing Texan.
Yep.
And I think that it is what 1-6-1. Their record.
The Giants?
Yeah.
No. Texans, yeah. Texans like 1-6 and something.
And what's the spread on the game?
Hold on. I can tell you in a half a second. I think
I'm just curious.
It's tighter than it probably should be, but there's a reason for it. But hold on. Let me tell you in a second. The Giant game is 6.5. Giants are favored by 6.5.
Let me ask you a question now. I mean, years ago when I was a kid, we did a lot of betting and stuff like that. This reminds me of last week's game with the Jets.
Okay.
Jets were 13.5 point underdog.
Yep.
And you're playing, and you swear it's less than 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
You know they're going to win. I mean, they're going to lose the game. Everybody thought they were going to lose. So who do you bet?
Well, the bookies want you to take the Giants because the Giants are under 7 points.
Thank you.
Dude, the Giants right here on ESPN 4.5.
Yeah. So again, the problem is this. I'm a huge Giant fan, but you got to be careful right now with the Giants because they're
you win.
Well, yeah. Because listen, they played well enough to win, but they're still not a good team. So there are no gimmies. Now, a win this week, you beat the Lions, but no Giant fan should sit here and go, all right, we beat the Texans and the Lions. Then we play, the Giants are doing a lot of stuff with smoke and mirrors. McKinney's out now. We're getting Galladay back, but he's done nothing for a year and a half. I, as a Giant fan, I'm looking forward to Sunday's game because I want to play it, but you're right, Dad. If I was betting this game, and I never bet Giant games, it's one of the rules I have.
No, you never bet you.
I would be very careful not to bet the Giants because the Giants have not beat anybody big this year. The Texans are bad, but the Giants are not great offensively. I don't expect the Texans to score a lot of points, but the Texans run the ball really well, and the Giants don't stop the run well. No. And especially now they're hurting. They're very thin under the defensive line. So my advice, and Matt, you're the betting expert. I would stay away from this game wholeheartedly. And if I'm a Giant fan, and I am, I'm very cautious about this game because this is a game in years past that the Giants could easily lose, and I don't want to get suckered into thinking we got this game.
Well, that's what they're giving you. They're actually showing. They're telling you, look, the Giants. Look at the spread on the Giant game. What a great deal that is. And let me tell you, that would scare the hell out of me.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now 4.5 points.
Their offensive line sucks. The only way this kid, Tommy, this kid. First of all, you got the quarterback.
Well, this offensive line is much, much better than it has been. It's still not great. It's still not great. They run the ball really well, and now they're getting healthier.
Where do they run it, Tommy? He gets his yardage at big plays. He busts open a play for 20, 30 yards.
Again, you can't throw it out the window. This obviously is not great. They don't pass block exceptionally well. But Andrew Thomas at left tackle is in the top 3 as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not knocking individually, but
they're better than they were, but they're not great yet. They're not even very good yet.
His yardage. I mean, you don't see him like normal running backs gaining 4 yards, 5 yards. It's either a yard, 2 yards, or he busts one off for 20, 30 yards, 40 yards.
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds familiar.
I disagree, but I'll concede.
Listen. The fucking box score shows it all. Saquon Barkley, 57 yards, 17 carries, 1.9 yards carry. That's usually the line because then he'll get 30 yards in one carry,
right?
And then there's other 16 yards. He's hitting 1 point something.
He's third in the league. He's third in the league in rushing.
He could fall forward. Yeah, that's because he gets a tremendous run every game.
Again, I disagree. I will politely disagree.
Listen, he's got one leg shorter than the other, and he got a mouth on the back of his head. He chews like this.
He's playing really well. He's back to beat it. Now, again, am I saying future? Do I want to sign Saquon Barkley to a huge contract? I don't think so. But if I can get him at a good number, where I take him? Yeah, he's a very talented back who's still very, very young, and this offense is getting better.
I'm not saying he's a bad running back. Don't get me wrong. Yep. I love him as a running back.
Yep.
Okay. The problem is any running back. I don't care who. You can go back to Jimmy Brown. You're only as good as your front line.
I agree.
I mean, it was Dan Marino used to go out and buy his front line watches, cars, everything. A lot of
guys do it.
Because without them, they're nothing.
I agree.
He's not going to gain anything. And
you want a good running back? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you where you can find a good running back.
Oh boy, yeah, on the injured reserve.
That's all right.
On the injured reserve,
right where Barkley always hangs out on the fucking injured reserve.
Yeah,
come on now. Reese Hall. That's where it's at.
I love your hat, Jeff.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Here we go. Very
nice. Listen, I'm gonna let you guys go.
Yeah, Bob. Bob.
That house got me. All right, listen.
I'll see you over the weekend.
Yeah, I want to see my boy.
I promise you, either you guys will stop by, and we'll bring him over.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to you. Take it easy,
Bob.
Jeff.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
See you later,
that's my dad. He pops up every week with us, and it's always good to get him on with us. And
now Mike Weissman just said something, or Mike or Joe, I don't know which one that is, but running backs, well, they're not so much that they're a dime a dozen, but the league has changed, and it's not a running league. And if it's not a running league, there's more of a passing game, and that's why there's either running back by committee. It's not the same position. It's a devalued position.
I agree, but I think the difference though is the running back who is multi-talented, the guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield, the guys who can run the ball like the Barkleys of the world, are a true weapon. And again, especially at a game like the Giants,
I'm not saying that. Listen. I agree with you. I'm not saying that he's not a weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. A little broken of a weapon at times, but he's not a total bust.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if they abandon the running game constantly, then it wouldn't matter. They'd be taking running backs in the 7th round.
You
know what I mean? As their main weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody has a good quarterback or good receivers or a good tight end.
Yeah.
So there always going to be a place in the football world for a running back.
Yes, 100%. But I think to your point, and I want to do something right after this. But to your point, yes, I'm a bigger fan of the running back by committee, where I have 2 or 3 guys who are good backs instead of having one great back and overpaying for him and having a couple of really lesser backs in the meantime. So I'm a bigger fan of the Giants when they had Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw and Ward, as opposed to having Tiki Barber, and the Giants didn't win anything.
Yeah, because if when the Giants had those 3 guys that you just mentioned, if one of them went down, they still had 2.
Correct, exactly right.
Now, when Barkley went down, they didn't have anybody.
Correct, and that's the problem with overpaying for one guy. So, but hey, listen, we'll get back to football. Jeff just popped up. I want to play a little bit of his music. I want to do a couple. I want to talk about Charlie Brown and Thanksgiving. I want to ask Jeff, how come the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is the slow cousin of the Charlie Brown Halloween and Christmas? So we'll talk about that when we come back. We're going to talk, Jeff Westlake happens to be a big Buffalo Bills fan. And, of course, my partner in crime, Mr. Jeff Tawinski, probably feeling pretty good this week about the Jets after beating a certain New York State team. So we'll get to that.
That would be the Buffalo Bills.
That's right. But, guys, it's the holiday season. And if you look like my partner in crime with a big fuzzy beard, or you got Aunt Edna in the corner and she's got a little scraggly thing working on, well, there's no better place to go for your holiday gift giving than to our friends at Hemp Wizard Beer Care Company. Joe and Mike are 2 of the most wonderful human beings in the world. They make a great product. Jeff was going to tell you about it now. I'll play you a little commercial, and on the other side of that commercial, we'll bring in Mr. Jeff Westlake. Jeff, tell us about your products at Hemp Wizard Beer Care Company.
Well, this is some quality stuff, man. It makes my beard nice and smooth. I love this stuff. It smells good. My wife likes it. They make good skincare products. She uses some of their products. It's good stuff. It's good quality stuff. I'm telling you right now. All right, come Christmas time, you're gonna see her. She's gonna be there in the corner. She's gonna have on the red coat. She's gonna have the black fur around it. She's gonna have the coat on the whole time, holding a bag, because she always wants to be ready. She doesn't want to put anybody out. She can't drive, and that's your aunt. It's your elderly aunt, and she has the one other thing that your uncles have too, and that's a little bit of a fucking mustache, maybe a little beard, usually a big mole with some hair on it. You get it, this. It'll soften it up.
Little Cushmans?
Oh, yeah, little Cushmans. That's my scent. I like that.
I got you.
You know, the oil, you put a little oil on your fingers when you go up to Aunt Edna. You just rub like, hey, Aunt Edna, you rub it in. Maybe it'll soften that hair up real quick. And you know, but it's good stuff, man. It really is. I've been using it now for a year. I've actually seen a growth spurt in my beard. My beard was the same length for the longest time. I started using that stuff. I don't know what exactly is in there. We'll have to ask Mike one day if there's any vitamins or anything.
Maybe some steroids.
What's that? Hair steroids, yeah.
Hair steroids?
Maybe you want to watch out if there is before you give that to Aunt Edna. You don't want to have a full-blown, beard, but it's definitely going to make it softer. It may make it longer, but it's definitely going to make it softer.
All right, so that's it.
The oil is great, too. It's not greasy. Just a little bit of, not even a pea-sized bubble in your hand there. You just rub it in and put it in and then rub it into the skin. Keeps everything nice and smooth. No chin dandruff. None of that stuff, man. All good stuff.
All right, we'll hang in. We'll play a little commercial. On the other side of that commercial, Mr. Jeff Westlake.
Hemp Wizard products are proudly used by former New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Spikes, Suicide Silence guitarist Mark Haleman, Canadian actor Jackson Rowe, Mr. Grimm and Noctis the drummers of Walking Corpse Syndrome, guitarist and vocalist Bub Heaston and bassist Ted Wilson of Black Sasquatch, guitarist and vocalist Adam Hines of Fester, Aaron Witzel, guitarist of Cropsy Maniac, Roy Boy, host of the Licking County Metalheads podcast, Crash Fistfight and Maxine Maxwell, host of the Musicians Hangout podcast, Jeff Towlinski, host of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. You too can give your beard the magic touch and treat your skin to the finest. Visit hempwizard.net today and use code 20OFF to save 20% off of your entire order.
That's right. So the holidays are fast approaching, guys. Get your holiday stocking stuffers. Get your gifts for the guys who look like Jeff or the Aunt Edna's in the corner.
Well, for the aunts that look like me.
That's right. Reach out to hempwizard.net for all of your shopping needs regarding hair, beards, and your skincare lotions, and all the stuff in between. Nothing better.
Yes. They're starting, get a load of these, because this will be the last that you see it is. They're going to have new labels coming up.
That's right. I saw them out there today. Good job by
labels, man. I like them.
Absolutely. Good job by that guy. And pretty soon coming, the Audible named after the Sunday Audible show, which is Jeff, myself, and John Marhefka. So again, good guys, small business. Please get out there and support Hemp Wizard Beer Care Co. Two better guys you ain't going to find in the business. Thank you, Joe and Mike, for being proud endorsers of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. Anyway, so Jeff, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get to some Charlie Brown. We got a lot of football to talk about. But right now, we're going to talk about the gods. That's right. And you say, Tom, how can we talk about the gods? Eric Moore's not here. No. The gods are still out there, Jeff. The gods are still out there. And I'm going to take you to the guy who is going to be leading the charge. Our buddy, Mr. Jeff Westlake. Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, pal.
How are you, man?
Good.
Jeff, I want to say
Jeff.
thank you. We had you on last week, and I ran into some technical difficulties, and I apologize. I hope I got it all solved. And but we're glad to have you back, so we can we'll start from the beginning, so everybody gets it. But Jeff, listen, how's things? How you been? And listen, a little tough loss on Sunday to the fuzzy team on Jeff's head.
Yeah. I unlike most people who've been out of shape over what their team does, I don't freaking play the game. So all I can do is support a team. But, the Jets looked really good on Sunday. They've looked good for weeks now. It's kind of like Gary together. It's a typical Bills Jets game. It's always a fight. It's always a really good game. The Jets came out on top Sunday, and hats off to them.
I would agree. Jeff Towinski, I got to ask, do you want to crow a little bit? You're going to give Jeff a pass on this one? He's kind of, kind of saying the right things here.
Well, listen, football is not always the most important thing in the world to other people. But we have no lives, so we have something else to worry about, and that's football. And evidently he has a few extra things to worry about in his life. Yeah. Good for him. Props to you. But hey, listen, it's just nice to see the Jets. You know what it is? I feel as though I never said this. I'm going to come out and say this now.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. I feel as though they're bringing me up high for a bigger letdown than ever before. Maybe they're going to win 8-9 games and then they're just going to fall off the cliff and go down. Or maybe they're going to get to the playoffs and be winning by 21 with 15 seconds left and lose by 4. I don't know. They're the Jets. You just never know what the fuck they're going to do next. What I mean?
I would agree. But, one thing we can count on right now is Jeff. And being the mad scientist that he is, I got to listen to some of his new music. And what I learned last week was that Jeff isn't doing a God's tribute. He's actually taking over the gods. So, Jeff, let's continue our conversation from last week. And, let's start it over because a lot of people probably didn't get to hear, including my partner. How did it come to that you now not only are writing music and continuing the gods in name, you're actually taking the gods and putting out music and then hopefully putting it out on the road. How did this come about?
Well, it came about in 2018 when Eric Moore held a meeting with myself and John Gard, who was Eric's manager and the manager of the gods. He held a meeting with us and said, hey, this is what I'd like to see happen. And he looked at me, he said, are you down with that? And I was like, yeah, I'm down with that. I can do that. Because we were already working, him and I were already working to modernize the band and bring it up into the here and now, knowing that he was not in the greatest health in the world at that time. But before he passed, we managed to get several songs recorded. On this album, on this particular release, the song Too Hot to Stop, that's actually the last track that Eric Moore played bass on.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Jeff, what's it mean now? So does this mean that the gods will continue for the foreseeable future with? Now, I didn't know you've been a kind of a silent partner in the gods. You've been writing, producing, playing on their stuff for 10 years or better. I mean, does this mean that the gods lives on for a while now, or is this a short-term thing where what is the immediate future and the short-term future?
It's not a one-off. This is going to go on for a while.
We lost Jeff. We'll hope he gets back soon. We'll get him right back up. But Jeff, it's interesting. When we talk about bands ending and moving on, we're talking about a band that's kind of legendary from the standpoint of like an underground type of thing. I mean, a lot of people in our genre of fandom know the gods, but it's kind of interesting when it's kind of hold Jeff's back. Let's get him right up before we lose him again. Jeff, he seems to be having some technical difficulties of his own tonight. Jeff, there you go. You're back. So good.
Okay,
Jeff.
Continue that.
Take two.
Yeah, this isn't a one-off. This is going to be a continuing thing. It's going to go on for as long as we can carry it on because that's what Eric wanted. Eric wanted all 4 of the original guys, and of course, Glenn Cataline is dead as well. But he wanted himself and Bob Hill and Mark Chatfield to have their own versions and carry the music on. And just so happens that I got asked to be Eric's mouthpiece, so to speak, and carry the band on. And so I told the man, that's exactly what I would do, and that's exactly what we're doing.
It's a completely interesting, and I love it. Now, I know you got some new music. You'll tell me now what's how it's going to be packaged and sent out. Is it digital? Are you putting out? What kind of versions are you putting out? But the big question for me and Jeff, I know you a few years now. You've been on the show a dozen times. We love having you. I really love when you send me music privately, because I not only do I love the original, but your covers are amazing. Does this version of the Gods, and you'll tell us who's going to be in the band if you know already, are you going to go out and play? Are you going to get out there and take the Gods on the road, or is this strictly going to be a digital or a studio version of the Gods?
But we're already in talks with a couple of booking agents. We've already got requests from San Antonio, Texas, to come down and play. So, this is a kind of situation. We're gonna write, record, and hopefully go play as many shows as possible. It's myself, Charlie Bonnet III, guitars and vocal, Ryan States, and Todd Long on drums. From now, Todd's going to be able to join us live for drums. So we're in the process of figuring that out right now. But that's the band as I sit here and speak with you two.
Now that'll be the recording band, and that'll be the touring band, or will you be doing most of the recording yourself, and then taking the band out?
Yeah, I do all the recording. I do the engineering and producing and all that good stuff. But we're going to go out on the road and just do our thing. We're actually Thanksgiving. We're going to start rehearsals.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Jeff is a big Pantera fan, and we all know that there's a new version of Pantera, 2 of the original guys in it. And of course, a couple of guys replacing the Paul brothers. And there's a lot of up in the air about this being a Pantera project. My question to you is, what's the reaction from the Gods Nation, people who are fans, about your version going out there and doing this? And also, Mark's version. And is there any animosity between Mark and what you guys are doing?
I have heard there's animosity with Mark, not any animosity from our side. I don't really give two shits what he does. A dinosaur will be a dinosaur. And so, we're out here driving the band forward. We're thinking forward. We're not in any way trying to be a tribute back to Eric or to the Gods. We're going to be doing, of course, some of the classic songs live, but we're writing new songs. And there's a lot of bitterness from that side. There's no bitterness from our side. We for negativity, man. This is all about celebrating making a career, and and that's the way it is. And it's like with the Pantera situation. I know I've heard a lot of people all up in arms because of the whole situation. Look, man, let's just celebrate the music. I think it'd be different if they were going out with subpar musicians, but who's going out with Anselmo and Rex Brown is not subpar. And if you want to go and watch it, happy about it, go watch it. If you're not, then just don't.
I got you, and I'm in the middle on all of that, to be honest with you. And I know Jeff feels differently.
Yeah, I feel totally different, man. And the reason I feel differently is because, one, Phil Anselmo is making a money grab at this point in time. He can't sing like he was once able to. And two, Vinnie Paul didn't want to do a reunion when he was alive, and now he's gone and he can't say anything, and there's nothing he can do to stop it or even tell us how he feels. And I just feel as though that they should just left it alone and just leave it the way it is. If you want to go out and do Pantera covers, that's fine. But no, it's just not right in my eyes. I don't like it.
And that's fine. And you're, as Jeff just said, as Jeff Westlake just said, if you're not interested in it, even though you're a big fan, more power to you. If there's, they're selling out in South America, people are flocking to it. So some people are going to like it, some people don't. But Jeff, let me ask you a question now. So was there any chance, you're doing this to keep the God's name alive, to keep promoting the band and the music, and that's wonderful. I think it's great. Was there any talk or any chance that Mark could have brought his abilities, his part of God's history with him and joined forces with you? Was that ever offered to him? Was that ever explored? Or it's just been straight down the middle? He's doing his thing, you're doing your thing.
No, as far as I understand, John Mark had asked him that exact question. I've never had a conversation with Mark Chaff. I don't know. I've never. There's no common ground between Mark and myself, other than the fact that we both play guitar. But no conversations ever been had. John did ask him that. I also understand that John asked the other guitar player that went with Mark and who's playing in that version of the band by the name of Eric Mock, who is a phenomenal player, asked him as well. And so I guess they'd already decided they were going to do their own thing. And that's great, man. I don't have, I don't have any issues with it. I don't have any ill will toward anybody. I think what those guys want to do or what they're doing is fine. Great with me. It's just, don't expect me to give any attention to it because I've got enough things I need to do on my own end.
Absolutely, 100%. Again, that's Jeff Westlake, the guy in the top corner. That's my buddy, Jeff Tomwinski. I'm Tom Furr. You listen to the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Thanks for tuning in on a Thursday night. Holiday season here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Keep tuning in each week. We got plenty of stuff coming up to talk about tonight and each Thursday night from 7 to 9:30. We do this every week. So thanks for tuning in and catching the show so far tonight. Stick around. Lots still to talk about. Charlie Brown's next up on the list, by the way, as soon as we're done with Mr. Westlake or he's done with us. Whatever comes first. Jeff, let me ask you another question. So I know you wrote with Eric, and you were part of the Gods, some so to speak. But going forward and writing new music, how much do you pay attention to the theme of the Gods or their style as opposed to the Jeff Westlake style and keeping it to what you like to do? Do you alter your writing to fit what their kind of sound and the theory behind their songwriting was, or do you take it now and take it to a different level?
Well, I think there needs to be what I call a little bit of sleaze in there because Eric brought a little sleaze to the music, a little bit of sleaze and roll.
Right.
And when we did this, we did one of Eric's songs, Born at the Wrong Time, and that's Eric Moore, and it worked out fantastic. But I keep in mind a little bit of what Eric did. That's one of the things that Eric and I talked about for countless hours. There's a song that you guys have there at the station called "I've Seen the Devil," and
great song.
Devil. Anybody knows Eric Moore or followed Eric Moore, that's an Eric Moore kind of thing. But what I do to the table, different Gods used to be, is what Eric wanted, which is a modernizing of the band, kind of bring it into the here and now. And, it's kind of a little bit of that ferocity and that attitude and swagger that Eric Moore gave the music. I think that's very important going forward, no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. The idea is to stay true to what it was, but bring your own style into it, and you said it, modernize it. And I think it's great as long as you hold on to what made the Gods what they are. And I guess sleaze is the best way to say it. It's a sleazy type of rock and roll, and it was just different and a different vibe to it. And I'll tell you how funny it is. Mm-hmm. When I heard those songs, I thought those were just old God songs that I had never heard before. So I had to go back and check, and I said, holy cow, wait a second. These are new songs. And I was shocked by it because it sounded like something that I would hear Eric Moore singing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of what you're doing so far.
Yeah,
and again, sorry, I cut you off, but I think that's the good part of the fact that you were involved with Eric for years, and you kind of got a feel, being the engineer, producer, writing, that you got the feel of what the Gods were in his eyes, and I think you've brought that to these new songs.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because that tells me that we accomplished what we set out to do. Because I spent hundreds of hours with Eric going through this whole thing and doing this. And so, after Eric passed, we took a couple years away from it, because I was just like, I just want to let this settle. I want to let this kind of, go away, and let it, materialize inside his mind and soul, and let him, figure out what's going on. And then one day John Gard came to me, and he just simple. My phone rang. It said John Gard. I picked up the phone and I go, "Hey," he goes, "It's time." And there it was.
Wow. You know what? And I think there's no wrong time, because I think this is, there aren't many of the like Jeff Twinski always says, there's nobody new stepping in. So we need is the old guard, no pun intended with John Gard, but we need the old guard to keep going and write new and better stuff. And I think you've accomplished that with what I've heard so far. So now I'm going to ask the question, okay, how is this package? How am I going to get a full slate of songs, and when will we see it?
The album is releasing. We're actually going to do a bunch of different things with this record. The first bunch of records is going to release on Black Friday.
Okay.
And when that press is done, it's only going to be on CD. It's not going to become digital until around Christmas.
Okay.
And the next batch of CDs will be a little different. We're going to kind of make everything kind of a collector's item for the first probably 2,000 or 3,000 run. And we're also going to be putting it out on vinyl in the spring.
Oh, that's what I'm talking
but
about.
It'll be available. It'll be available everywhere. Started right after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so we get that. So and is the plan, some point after the holidays, or maybe before the holidays, or during the holidays. So the plan is you're going to release some music, right around Black Friday. Are we at that point? What is the timeline for shows? Is it early next year? Are we talking about sometime in the near future with some sort of run of shows?
Just at the end of college, I was having,
I would say the first run of shows will probably be somewhere in the spring. I'd be looking about March.
Okay. All right. So you're going to have to keep me updated on that, because if it's going to be a set of shows and it's going to be in Texas in the spring, I definitely want to come and see. One, I've never gotten to see you play live, so that's one. Two, seeing you play this would be great. Three, if it's going to be in Texas, I never visited, so I want to go. So it'd just be an opportunity to get out of New York, New Jersey, and head out to see you play live. And if it's the God stuff or your solo stuff, I'm all in. So please keep me updated off the air if you have to, or on the air, whichever way possible. But I really want to try to make it out when you do a run out in Texas.
Absolutely, I'd love to have both you guys at a show. Maybe bring Mr. Jets fan there up on stage and put a bass in his hands and have him jam one with.
Well, dude, that would be a pleasure to see.
We can't get in the same place to practice. I don't know if we'll make it down to Texas, sadly.
Well, either way, we're gonna follow along and see what you got. Hey, but
Jersey,
Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff. Westlake, go ahead.
We've been asked about playing Jersey too, so you never know.
Oh, listen, I can promise you this: if you make it up to Jersey, I will drag my partner out there, and if you can get a bass in his hand on stage with you, you'd make my dreams come true. My man needs a chance to be up there with the true professionals.
It'd be awesome.
He deserves it. Absolutely right, 100%. Wesley, before I let you go, you're going to give me some websites if you got them. Should people be reaching out to John Gard? All of that. But I got to ask you, Christmas is coming. Is there any Jeff Westlake Christmas songs out there?
No, it's funny that you mentioned that. I'm actually going to be working on some Christmas music with a guy by the name of Todd Long, who was a drummer in the Verve Pipe and in Ghost of Sunset, and I just mixed an album for him, and he did, was doing drum work for me. We got a little production thing going on. We're going to try to get a Christmas song out this year. Just got too busy. I do have a Christmas song from years ago that I did, and my ex Julie sang on, and it is quite phenomenal. And I was actually, funny that you bring that up. I was thinking yesterday about possibly releasing that first time for everybody this Christmas here because she does just a stellar job.
Well, I'm looking for some. We're going to have a Christmas show here. And first, I'll invite you to come on that night and do a little Christmas stuff with us. And if you happen to want to do a live Christmas song, that would be great. But at the very least, I would love to get a version of that, of anything Christmas from you to play on that show that night. So give it some thought. Of course, I'd love to have you on. But if you can't come on and you don't want to play or any of that good stuff, I certainly would love to play some old Christmas music that you got.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So I'll reach out to you that. So give me, is there any websites? Where should people, beside your website, give it all. Where can people keep up to date on the gods, yourself, and everything else going on in the Jeff Westlake Mad Scientist basement?
Well, everything's under one roof. Of course, they all have their own URLs. You can go to jeffwestlakemusic.com. You can go to westlakerocks.com. You can go to EM, that's letters E, Eric M is more, thegods.com. And the gods, you can spell it with a Z or an S, and it'll still take you to the same place. So, and then you've got Eric the Gods on Facebook. So there's all those ways that you can reach us and get a hold of us. On the website, you can email us, messages, whatever you need to do, however you need to do it. We're pretty simple to get a hold of. And, on that website, there will be tour dates and all kinds of stuff that will be filtrating its way in as things progress along.
Well, listen, Jeff, I appreciate you giving us a second chance at this one. I am thrilled for what you're doing. I love what the early stuff. I can't wait to hear the whole thing. And again, like I said, remember the Christmas stuff. And of course, my brother, please let us know when you lock it up. Let me know as soon as you can. I promise to keep it quiet, but I really would like to try to make some plans to get down to see you play live with this band. So I'm looking forward to that. And I really do appreciate you coming on the show. It really means a lot to me. I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Anytime you ever need anything from me, all you have to do is just let me know. You guys are first and foremost with me. So, it was thrill. Last week was just a thing, and here we are this week. Things happen, but thanks for supporting me and thanks for always talking, so nice and about what I do. Really appreciate both of you guys.
Well, we appreciate it, and we are big fans, and we do appreciate Mr. Jeff Westlake. Please support that, the Jeff Westlake projects, all of his stuff, and especially now with Jeff Westlake, and he takes it out with the God. So, Jeff, keep in touch, brother. Send me whatever you can, and I will definitely keep in touch with you off the air.
Absolutely. Hey, Mr. Big Man over there in the Jets hat, AFC East is the best division in football this year.
There you go. Somebody else doesn't want to hear that, but I agree with you.
NFC East, baby. NFC East. That's all I'm going to say.
It's fucking Pee Wee League over there.
Really?
AFC East, yeah. NFC
East. AFC East. Hey, Tom, we'll convert you. We'll convert you by the end of the season, man.
There you go. I'll be happy to convert. I'll convert when I get to see you play. I break your deal. How's that? Fair enough.
Okay. All right.
Jeff, you got to go back to the man bit. Go back to the basement. Keep pumping out music, and I'll definitely talk to everybody. Jeff Westlake, come on, go out there and support the man. Thanks, Jeff.
Have a good night, man.
All right, that's Jeff Westlake. Good dude, right there.
Where is he located from?
He's in the I think in Ohio area, if I'm not mistaken. Jeff lives in somewhere in the Ohio area, but good dude, great musician. Hey, Carrie, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. So
terrible reception.
Yeah, I think we got the. Thank you.
Ohio,
Ohio. Okay, thank you, Carrie. Appreciate that. Let me tell you something. I maybe he doesn't have the notoriety on the national stage, but I have to tell you, he really is a phenomenal musician. His stuff is his covers are just. I've listened to his Kiss covers all the time. Really great musician and a good dude, and just reaches out all the time. And he actually takes us serious, Jeff. So anybody who takes us serious, you got to respect him a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
I hear you.
Hard Rockin' Sports, Jeff Towinski, Tom Florio. Thanks for tuning in. Keep staying around. We got a lot to talk about, and I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects. I'm gonna play a little video, and then we're gonna have a conversation about it.
Charlie Brown, oh Charlie Brown.
I can't believe it. She must think I'm the most stupid person alive.
Come on, Charlie Brown. I'll hold the ball and you kick it.
Hold it? Ha! You'll pull it away and I'll land flat on my back and kill myself.
But Charlie Brown, it's Thanksgiving.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, one of the greatest traditions we have is the Thanksgiving Day football game. And the biggest, most important tradition of all is the kicking off of the football.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Come on, Charlie Brown. It's a big honor for you.
Well, if it's that important, a person should never turn down a big honor. Maybe I should do it. Besides, she wouldn't try to trick me on a traditional holiday. This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon!
Isn't it peculiar, Charlie Brown, how some traditions just slowly fade away?
Jeff, first off, do you think Charlie Brown ever gets to kick the football?
No, I've never seen him kick the football. But you know what?
Go ahead.
If he was dumb enough to fall for it like 7 times, then so be it.
So I got to ask the question, Jeff. So everybody's there's the two biggest, in my opinion, Charlie Browns are the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown and, of course, the Christmas Charlie Brown. Not quite. It's almost like the slow cousin of the Charlie Brown trilogy is the Thanksgiving Charlie Brown. Why is that not more? Thanksgiving is a bigger holiday than Halloween, yet the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is not nowhere near held in the esteem as the other two. Why is that, Jeff?
Because it sucks.
Why does the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving suck?
It just does. It just does. First of all, you got to understand something. When you're thinking of the holidays, right? Everybody says the holidays start with Thanksgiving, and that's the kickoff to the holidays, correct?
Yes. I think so.
Okay. But you could make an argument that the holidays actually kick off at Halloween.
Okay. Why?
Well, it's a fall holiday. You dress up. It's the only holiday that there's a little decoration. So nobody puts up 4th of July decorations or Labor Day decorations.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
So you decorate the house a little bit. You carve a pumpkin, which, by the way, I have to throw my pumpkin out. He's melted. He's done.
Yeah, I got a couple to gotta go to. I'm with you.
Yeah. And, I just I like it. Halloween. I always did from when I was a kid, but I like Halloween now. I'm actually bought a whole bunch of lights for next year. Mm-hmm. So next year we're going to have the entire house lit up in and out for Halloween. So it's just it's a somewhat of a joyous holiday. You get candy and stuff like that. I mean, we don't, of course, but the kids go out, they get dressed up, and it's not the same as when we were younger.
No, of course not.
Thanksgiving is kind of like a lull. Like, what is the allure of Thanksgiving? You tease that Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
And, it's when you're a kid, your mother used to say, oh, you got to watch the Macy's Day Parade. Santa Claus is coming. And, there's nothing. What are you getting? You're not getting candy. You're not getting any presents. You're not getting anything other than to watch a parade and then football all day and then a big turkey dinner. So when you're a little kid, what is there to what's the celebration? And then Charlie Brown, being as wishy-washy as he is, gets walked on the entire show, has a subpar meal out in the yard made by his dog.
It was toast and some candy on it.
Popcorn, some pretzels, and some look like jelly beans.
Yes, exactly right.
I mean, he did what he had to do. And then Snoopy, being the slickster that he is, pulls out a turkey, him in Woodstock. You know, and you know, listen, I just feel as though that it's just something for the kids to watch. That's all. It wasn't, it didn't have anything behind it. You know, I mean, I watched it as a kid, yeah, but you know, out of the three, like how you called it, the Charlie Brown trilogy, it comes in fourth. You know, there was actually a Valentine's Day Charlie Brown too.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, and there's another one, but I can't say the name of it on air because we will definitely, without a doubt, be thrown off. And I'll send it to you. Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. It's a YouTube video.
Okay.
And if you're not crying by the end of this, and I mean crying because you can't stand laughing anymore, then there's something wrong with you, because this may be the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Because there was an Easter one too.
See, I know there's a bunch of different movies and there's other stuff on it. I've never really watched anything but the trilogy. So if there's other stuff, I'll have to do a little digging. I always wondered why there wasn't more Charlie Brown stuff.
There is. It's just like, you know, the new ones, the newest stuff. Yeah.
No, yeah, I've seen some of the new ones where it's like the animation is better.
Carrie, yeah, well, those the newest stuff. But Carrie, which one are you referring to?
Probably the one you were talking about.
The one I'm talking about? No, I don't know.
Is it politically incorrect? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God, is it? I can't. Oh my God.
What is the best character on Charlie Brown?
The best character? It all depends. It all depends, man.
Snoopy's the best character.
Oh, Snoopy's the best character. Matter of fact, I was listening to the Snoopy Christmas song.
You are?
Yeah, the other day I listened to it.
And?
I have the right version now, so yes. I know what it was, and I just wanted to read the words along as I was listening to it.
Right.
So I read it all and pretty much know the story between Snoopy and the Red Baron. And
love my favorite by
well, now I could see why. For years I could never figure it out. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Gary, when Jeff sends it to me, I'm going to forward it to you. I promise. I will forward you whatever Jeff sends me so you can see it as well. How's that? Fair enough?
Yeah, I can't even say the name of it on air for fear of aggravating. Well, not even aggravating people. I'm home and I don't want people showing up at my house. That's how bad it is.
Pitchforks and
I'm gonna send you the name of it now.
Okay, send me the name of it now off the air, and I will do that. And what's your favorite, guys? Are you a fan of Charlie Brown? Which of the trilogy, as I call it, which one is your favorite? And who's your favorite character? And if you haven't heard the Snoopy song, it's I can't think of the name of the band at the top of my head. It's Snoopy and the Red Baron. I want to say
Snoopy and the Royal Guardsmen.
The Royal Guardsmen. That's it. Check it out. You will love it. Let's see. Get the hell out of here.
I swear to fucking God, bro. I swear to God.
Get the hell out of here.
I swear to God. Look it up on YouTube right now.
I will look at.
Don't play it. Don't play it. Look it up on YouTube. Type in what I just told you.
Oh boy!
And so you could everybody could gauge your reaction.
All right, hold on a second. But tell me, guys out there, what do you like? Who's your favorite? And over the weeks we'll talk about our favorite Christmas songs and our favorite holiday song movies. And again, we're gonna get all the Christmas cartoons, as I call them, or animations. I'm looking forward to all of that. I can't believe I'm actually gonna put this up there. Charlie Brown. I'm putting Charlie Brown Easter in it because I'll write the rest of it. Let's see if this pops up anywhere. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No, you have seen it there, man. And
well, I found ghetto Charlie Brown Easter egg. So that's what it says. I'm not telling you that's what you told me. I'm with you. I'm just telling you.
I'm gonna try to see if I can find the other one.
Carrie, I've got you the tame version of what Jeff told me it is. It's called the Ghetto Ghetto Charlie Brown Easter egg. Look it up on YouTube.
That's not it.
I'm just telling you, that's the clean version of what Jeff told me. So, oh boy, that's interesting. I have to watch that at some point.
Oh, okay. Here's one for you.
Go ahead.
Look up this one. Oh man, you're entering puberty, Charlie Brown.
Come on.
That's some great stuff. Charlie Brown Christmas Reunion is another one.
I got another one. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown.
No, you don't want that.
I'm just telling you.
Stick with the one I just told you.
I'm going to look that one up after the show.
If my phone wasn't charging, I would send it to you right now.
I'll find it. I see a bunch of newer ones. You're not elected, Charlie Brown. Boy, Snoopy. I'll have to check stuff off the air. Anyway. Is that possible? Anyway, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom here, hanging out on a Thursday night, talking a little bit of Christmas. We love the holidays here, and we're glad you guys have stopped by to join us for a few hours of lighthearted talk. After my political rant, so that's over with. We're on to.
Now wait a minute, you're letting a moment fly by here.
What's that?
Nobody gives a shit about your political rant because not one person said anything. But I'm not ready to let go of this Charlie Brown thing.
All right, go ahead. Keep it going.
Right, because this is we're entering the holiday season. Would you not agree?
We're already in, as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. So now let me ask you something. As far as the Christmas shows go.
Go ahead.
Okay, now that they showed them, you could see the some of these Christmas shows 2 or 3 times, if they're lucky enough to make the air.
That's true.
Some are being held hostage by other entities such as Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I am lucky enough to own them on DVD, Blu-ray.
Wow.
I have them saved. I bought them off of Apple. I have them all over the place. So I'm watching it this year. But
I got you.
Every year for years, I am a total convert right now.
A convert of what?
Convert. I used to be a total Rudolph guy.
Oh, really?
Total Rudolph guy.
Well, okay, Dad, really?
Yeah, I'm
the
not.
Rudolph story don't do it for me, but it's the other stuff. The Island of Misfit Toys. It's the abominable guy. Yukon Cornelius. That's the the elves. That's the funny part.
I watch one section of Rudolph every year. I must watch it.
Which is what?
That is when they go to rescue his parents and Clarice in the cave of the abominable snowman. And they end up, Yukon Cornelius goes over the side.
Yes.
And they think he's done.
Yes. And
I'll watch it from there to the end when Yukon comes back in the castle.
I would agree with you. That is the best part. That is absolutely the best part of
that is all that I will watch.
The rest of it's just Rudolph being bullied.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all it is. It's Rudolph being bullied. But
Rudolph being dickless.
Anytime I can watch elves and a dentist elf, I'm all over it.
Yeah. And then, but as far as Charlie Brown goes, I will watch that one. And Frosty has never been a favorite of mine.
I like Frosty. I like the music in Frosty. I am not a over top fan. My favorite is probably Year Without a Santa Claus because I like the Heat Miser. And yes, Bumbles do bounce. I'm a big Heat Meister and Coal Meister fan. That whole thing just
that's excellent too, just because of those two guys.
Correct. That's one of my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I could watch all of those, and I will every year.
But that one got lost. That one always got lost amongst everything else.
Sure, of course.
All of the animated ones, that was probably the best one because of the Heat Miser and the Coal Miser.
Yes,
but it was always buried underneath all the other ones.
I would agree with that. I would agree. There wasn't, the growing up, the big ones were always Rudolph, Charlie Brown,
and Frosty.
Those were the 3 big ones. There was
what was the other one with the penguin? Man, what the fuck?
Oh, yes. That was the Santa Claus Coming to Town.
Yes, that's a big one too. I like that one.
That is actually a very good one. And I know that you're not going to like this one, but I like the one with the mice. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
The one that lived in the clock.
The one that lived in the clock.
Yeah, that was cool, but I had reasons for that.
I watched that. I get a kick out of that one. I love them all. And to tell you the one that's probably underrated and one I don't say I like, but I watch it every year is the Grinch, the original Grinch cartoon, not the movie versions.
Yeah, I don't watch the movie version.
Yeah, the Shiny New Year. I'm not. I can't go with you on that one. You're probably a little younger than us.
That to me, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are some of the saddest days of the year because that's it. Yes, 'twas the night before Christmas.
Correct. Terrific one. Absolutely. One of my favorites of all time.
But you're closing the book on a year. Okay.
Yes, I agree with you.
Good year could have been a bad year.
And the holidays. Well,
and the holidays, but to me, it's more like you're leaving something behind.
Correct.
You know, there are things that happen over the year that just ain't gonna happen no more. You left it behind, whether it's good or bad or whatever. And maybe sometimes it's something you're not ready to leave behind. But it is whatever. But that Shiny New Year was always on at the wrong time.
Yeah,
and I just never really got into it.
I think it's you're done with all the holiday movies at that point. You know, it's kind of like I'm done with the animations. Let me ask you, Carrie brought up a decent thing, and I want to bounce on it a little bit here. Carrie said
that was the baby with the tight curly pubic like hair, yellow pubic hair.
Carrie brought up the fact that she thinks the Ref, which I think that's the Whoopi Goldberg. I think that's Whoopi Goldberg. I'm not sure, but as the best Christmas movie, Jeff. Non-animated. What's the best Christmas movie of all time? What's your favorite Christmas movie? Not one of the Charlie Brown animated cartoon movies. What's the best one?
Well, you know what? I remember Dennis Leary in that.
Yes. Okay, Dennis Leary. Okay.
I look for this every year.
Okay.
Every year I do my best to look for it. I usually get my wife involved and have her look for it for me because I'm evidently incapable of operating a TV remote and figuring this stuff out. But she can handle it still, thank God.
Thank God.
But I look for the oldest version of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, you and my dad.
I could possibly find.
You and my pop.
I think what's that?
My dad likes the old one. He likes the Alistair Cook one, which I think is second or third in line. I think that's like a 19.
Yeah, well, I found one that was so old.
Yes.
That the film, like I don't even know why they show it anymore.
Really?
Oh my God. It's so old that like most of it is white. Like you could just barely see the people. And it's so old.
Yeah.
It's like from the 1930s or something like that. Early to mid 30s.
My father, I think, has that on DVD and it's a rough version to watch. I have to tell you, my dad, after everybody leaves on Christmas Eve, if my brother's in town, or usually my Uncle Frankie stays over, whatever, they watch that Christmas. They watch that Christmas Carol with Alistair Cook every year. I'll give you two. I got two favorites: an older movie, and I'll say it's a newer one, but it's probably 20 years old at this point. My favorite of all time is the original Miracle on 34th Street.
Really?
Yeah, I love that movie. I could watch that year round. I love it. Sometimes it's on regular TV. I usually have to go find it the last couple of years. Sometimes it's on every night. You can't get rid of it. They play a lot of the newer version. There was a version in 1976, I think it was, or early 80s, which is very bad. But the original with Sir Edmund Gwenn and I think it's John Garfield. I can't get that guy's name. And what's her name? The girl who got killed. It's a Wonderful Life is a good one. I don't watch it, but my favorite newer version is Scrooged with Bill Murray. I don't know if you watch it.
No, not really.
Very good. All good. So I would tell you, that's probably my two favorites. It's Wonderful Life is good. I got to be in the mood because they overplay it every year, Jeff. They play it constantly, and I'm always picking it up in the middle. I watch half of it. Another great one. Are you It's a Wonderful Life fan?
No. I've seen it a couple times, just because it's been on and everything. But no, I'm not big. I just looked up that Christmas Carol. It was from 1938. The actor that played Scrooge, Reginald Owen. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Any idea when he was born, Mr. Owen?
Well, I would say it was so. If that was 1938, he had to be in his 60s or 70s. So I would say 1875.
Not too far off. 1887.
Okay. Oh wow.
1887 he was born in, and now
Yeah.
One that's coming up before everything is March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's the TV. That was the original kickoff to the holiday season. But for me, I always like toward the end. First, I like the pigs. The pigs are my favorite. I love to watch the pigs when the pigs come running out because I just think there's a little guy in there running around and I get a kick out of it. Sorry, I can't help myself. And the second part of that is I love when they hit the little darts at everybody. I get a kick out of it. And they beat people up with a balloon. It's the funniest thing ever.
That is some great stuff. And I'm going to real quick on this one. The woman that plays Bo Peep.
Oh, wow.
Florence Roberts.
Okay.
Would you like to take a guess of when she was born?
What year was that movie?
That movie was 1934.
So she can't be that old. I would say that's probably like a 1907.
Okay. You can't be any more far off. Okay. They actually give 2 dates, and she was dead by 1940.
Wow.
Okay? She was born either March 16th, 1861.
Get the hell out of here.
Or March 16th, 1864.
Wow. So she was that old playing Bo Peep?
That's how old she was.
Wow.
No, not Bo Peep.
Oh.
Mother
Goose.
Widow Peep.
Oh,
okay.
Widow Peep. Okay, got it. Okay, that makes more sense.
Bo Peep was born in 1914.
Okay.
And then Felix Knight, who played Tom Tom.
Oh, man. Tom.
Where is he? I'm looking this one up. Okay. He was born in 1908 and he died in 1998. I thought he was around a little bit longer. And then just one last one from this, Silas Barnaby.
Oh, yes.
Heinrich von Kleinbach. You got to see him. It looks like I'm not even going to say it over here. I'm not going to say he looks like a gay porn star, but okay. He was born in 1912 and didn't die till 1990. But those old movies, man, I love looking back and seeing when some of these guys were, some of these people were born.
I do it all the time. I watch them. Yeah. I'm on my cable. I can click on the info channel and take it to the cast, and you can click on the individual person and get a little bit of history on them. And I love to see when somebody's older actors, some of these older movies, and see some of these guys who were born in the 1870s and 1880s. I get a kick out of that. Like holy cow. But the funny part of watching Wooden Soldiers is what's his name? Not Stan Laurel. Oliver Hardy has the worst haircut ever.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's
pretty bad.
That is
when you pull his mustache off and the other guy licks his finger, picks it up, and puts it back on.
Stan Laurel may be one of the funniest human beings ever. Just Oliver Hardy's just a bad-looking dude.
I did have. I don't know if I still have it. I hope I still have it. I had the color version and the black and white version saved on my DVR.
That I could never watch that in the color. I could not. That has to be black and white. I get that the soldiers' colors and all that stuff, but I watched that since I was a kid. When I was a kid, Thanksgiving, and Carrie, by the way, you scared the crap out of me watching that kind of stuff, but that's all right. You were scaring the crap out of me. But when I was a kid, Thanksgiving, you wake up in the morning, and it was the same tradition. Every year you woke up, and Iona Prep and some other school was playing high school football on Channel 11.
Yeah, fuck, man. Now I can't remember the name.
It was Iona Prep and somebody else.
Somewhere up in the Bronx.
Yes, another team from up that way. You'd watch that. Then it would be March of the Wooden Soldiers, and then I would take you into the parade. And then after that, you watch a football day. And that was tradition for me. I mean, well into my teen years and probably close to my 20s. And that is something that's gone away, obviously, with the advent of cable and all the different channels. Nobody's that stuff's gone. But back then there was nothing else to watch. You'd wake up, you'd watch Iona Prep play, which was amazing to watch a high school team on TV on regular
Channel
TV.
11.
Yeah, and then you'd go into March of the Wooden Soldiers, and every once in a while on an alternate channel, usually Channel 9, they'd sneak in the worst movie of all time, the worst Christmas movie ever made. And if you never saw it, go look it up. It's Santa Claus Meets the Martians.
Never saw that one.
The worst movie, Santa Claus Rescues Earth from Martians who are invading. And it is the worst movie you've ever seen in your life. The graphics, the costumes, it's all laughable. But as a kid,
you know what?
watch it all the time. Santa Claus the Martians.
What they used to put on, and if you didn't want to watch football,
yep,
and it's not on anymore.
Which is that?
I haven't seen it in years. Which was King Kong.
Yes. Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young and Son of Kong or something like that.
Yes, you're 100% right. That was the alternative to football. Was the original King Kong and Mighty Joe Young, which we watched every Thanksgiving in my parents' house every year.
Yeah, we
100% right.
Flipping around. I used to wake up. I watch. Like you said, the parade. I don't remember what the order was. I remember watching the football game, which was probably played the week before or some shit like that.
Yeah, probably right.
Okay. And it always looked like a cold gray, snowy. It's like it's going to snow any second.
Meanwhile, it'd be 90 degrees outside.
Meanwhile, they wanted to be anywhere else but on that field that moment.
Yes.
That was one thing.
Yep.
The parade, the March of the Wooden Soldiers is usually on twice. They usually do the color version and the black and white version throughout the day. Okay. The Westminster Dog Show was one that I always watched. That came on after the parade, but before the game, and it was like ending just as the game was beginning.
Okay.
I always watch the Lions.
Yes,
I don't care who they're playing. I'll watch the Lions.
Lions and the Bears. Go ahead.
But
the Lions were always traditional. I don't know who it is this year. Those were always the teams that were on that day where the Lions played somebody and the Bears played someday. Sometimes they played each other.
Well, I never remember the Bears playing. I know it was always the Lions and the Cowboys.
Yep.
And now there's like another game that's later on at night. So,
correct.
That would take you through. And then, like I said, on Channel 9, if you don't want to watch football, there would be all kinds of King Kong stuff. And then I remember the day after, there would always be a college football game, usually Boston College.
Yep. There's always, in fact, I remember watching the Flutie game in your living room.
Yes, I remember that.
We watched the Flutie Hail Mary play in your living room that day. I never forget it.
I remember that. And usually, from what I can remember vaguely, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I may be wrong, King Kong versus Godzilla on the Friday after
yes, because it was almost like Monster Week. Yes, you would get all those crazy King Kong versus the Godzilla versions were better than the King Kong versions. The King Kong movie was the best, but the Godzilla versions of Godzilla versus Mothra or Godzilla versus whatever were better movies. Those were funny.
Well, because you didn't see them as much as some of those other ones, so you never really got tired of it.
Sure.
Meanwhile, you look at Mothra, you could see the wires on his wings going up and down, and just some guy standing behind him with a cigarette lighter to, do the fire.
But you know what? It's funny because nowadays the Mighty Joe Young, I don't know where that went, but the original King Kong is never on TV. Whenever I see it, I'd like to try to watch it, and I could probably find it easy on pay-per-view somewhere, or one of the Netflix or one of them. But on regular TV, they always play the later version, the 80s, the 90s. I think there was even a 2000s version of King Kong. Yes, and they were on Saturdays, 100%, Carrie. You're 100% right.
I just looked it up. Mighty Joe Young was originally put out, it looks like, in 1949. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. I got to look up the original one, but I have 1949. I didn't think it was that.
Ben Johnson. Yeah, sure.
I thought it was older than that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I knew the date. I remember seeing it, obviously it was black and white, and that was a tradition in my house. After we ate dinner, there was usually whatever the second game was, we got tired of watching football for a little while. And my dad would always put on, this is what we're going to watch. And we would watch Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young, 1949.
Yeah, the end of the King Kong. Always loved to watch Kong knock down the airplanes. They were always the biplanes. And then, of course, we going to watch Mighty Joe Young and him rescue the babies in the orphanage. And then poor Joe until they took him back to the island. But, that's our traditions. What's yours? Keep around, guys. We're going to be a little while longer on the air. And, of course, we're here every week, and we're going to have a little bit of a Christmas show coming up, probably the Thursday night before the holiday, and we'll celebrate Christmas. We'll talk. We'll be doing a lot of this along the way, bringing back some old memories. We'll play some clips, and we'd love to get your take on the holidays and what you're doing this year. But, I'm always curious how much has changed in people's lives. Tradition, like my family, it basically is still the same. I mean, it's at my parents' house. My entire family comes. My mother cooks. She makes basically the same stuff every year. The things have changed a little bit, that we don't always buy gifts for everybody anymore. A lot of times we said, you spending 100, me spending 100. Let's just, we buy for the kids. Some of that's changed, but our holiday is basically the same every single year. I'm curious if it's the same for everybody else.
Mine, of course, is different because my parents live closer to my brother.
Right.
And, I'm not traveling on Thanksgiving Day. That's not happening. I'm not going to sit someplace in traffic, so it's a little different. But I also don't look at Thanksgiving as a day to, I could get together and eat turkey any day of the week with anybody I want. You know what I mean? Christmas is the one that's the big thing. And the Feast of the Seven Fishes, I try to do as many fishes as I can. But, yeah, I'm a big fish guy for Christmas Eve. Well, matter of fact, Labor Day comes. That's when I start breaking balls about getting fish together for Christmas Eve. I'm usually have a shrimp cocktail, baked clams, fried shrimp, fried scallop, either a lobster tail or king crab legs, and whatever. Maybe shrimp and scallop scampi. I don't know. See a whole bunch of stuff. See what's out there.
Yeah.
What could be afforded this year? Maybe this year it's just tuna sandwiches with the way it's just gone up.
Yeah, and I feel bad for my parents because they do this every year, and my mother spends tons of money. We don't do the seven fishes anymore. She still does the fish salad. We do shrimp. It's kind of gotten down to where a lot of the other people, my younger cousins, their kids, most of them don't eat a lot of that. So, it's a lot of traditions that we have in our family. My mother makes her rice bowls every year. She makes the Italian sausage bread that we call it bindalata. We have there's the pasta and there's meats and there's too much food every year, and it's crazy, but it's a tradition in our family that goes back till when I was a kid. They just overcook. Everybody eats. I wish it lasted a little longer, but it's a great day. And this year, Jeff, the best part of it is it's a Saturday. So for me, I'm off. I can go have an earlier version of the day instead of getting out of work. And if it's a half a day, you're still tired from it. It's great, and I get Monday off.
I tell my wife every year, I would rather do Christmas Eve a little bit later. And this year, I'm going to hide pots and pans and shut the gas off to the stove to see a way nobody could cook till later on.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'd rather do it when it's not late at night. I don't want to start eating it at like 9 o'clock, but I want to start eating a little bit later, like, maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30. Yeah. I make the antipasto.
Oh, you gotta have the antipasto. You got it, because it's you pick on it. You're picking little salami there, little pepperoni, the cheeses.
How many people do you have?
Let's see. If everybody comes, it's 4. It's 6, 8, 9. It's probably 20, 22.
See, you get a lot of people there.
Yeah.
We have me, my wife, her son. It depends if a daughter comes or not. My daughter does Christmas with her mother, on Christmas Eve, and usually will be Christmas Day. She comes to us, and maybe my wife's son's girlfriend. So it's just could be 3, could be 2. A couple of years it was just 2 of us,
right?
And then 2 years we actually had her whole family over. And that was nice. There was people all over the place, and but once they all left, it was like, oh, thank God.
I get that, and I do. But I tell you the truth, Jeff, my biggest fear in life, I got to be honest with you. I mean, besides being homeless, like that's something that drives me every day. I don't ever want to be homeless, but that's a whole different fear thing. My biggest thing is I don't ever want to lose the tradition of Christmas Eve. A lot of other ones I could do. It could go away and stuff. I don't ever want to look up and not have a house full for Christmas. I don't ever want to be alone for Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, I'm not a big Christmas Day guy. In the sense I don't have to be around a ton of people.
You were just around a bunch of people a couple hours earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, I'm okay with a quiet Christmas Day. I like to go to my parents for a little while, see them if I can. And sometimes we have all the kids over, sometimes we don't. But Christmas Eve is something I never want to lose, and I hope that as I've gotten older, I don't lose touch with my cousins and the people that we get together with every year. And like I said, I don't want to ever open up on a Christmas Eve and say I'm going out to a diner to eat. I want to be able to eat with friends or family, and that's to me has always been the one thing that I never wanted to lose track of is Christmas Eve. To me, that's the most important holiday of the year for me.
I agree, but you don't have to worry as long as I'm alive.
No, listen, I know that, and you know what, that is something that I hope that something that some part of our life we have that tradition, you and I, and maybe others in our life, whether it's our kids or our friends, and pick a holiday like that and make sure that we're all together and make sure none of us are alone or celebrating by themselves. That's
no, I would never let any of these guys do it alone. But that's why it's important to me when I have that barbecue in the summer.
Yes.
That I know it's small grounds, but I have fun every year. And how many years? I don't even know how many years in a row I've done it. 4, 5, 6 years.
It's got to be at least. It's got to be. Well, you missed it during the pandemic, right? Wasn't there one year?
No, we did it during the pandemic. Yeah, because that was the first year. We did it 3 years here, and I think 3 years at the other place.
Yes.
So this is like 6, 7 years in a row.
Yeah, and you know what? That's something I hope you never stop doing, because those are the important dates, and those are things together. Good.
Believe me, I don't care what's going on. Yeah, we ain't gonna stop it. You know why? Because I have a fucking blast.
I know you do. Jeff's the one guy who has the most fun at his party. You can never outdo Jeff at his party because he's the king. When he's there, he's eating, he's drinking, and he's having a good time. And there's nobody better to be around when he's having a good time.
I don't understand. What do you mean? What do I do? I pretty much would drink Drano if it.
Well, I'll let me be, because I'm the fly on the wall at that. So Jeff has a backyard barbecue every year. There's usually a nice sized crowd. I would say anywhere from 12 to 20 people, depending on the year.
About that.
There's barbecued food, burgers, hot dogs, chicken. His wife is a tremendous cook. Jeff's a good. I've eaten at Jeff's barbecue plenty of times, even when it's just him and I a couple times back in the day. And there's lots of good drinks. There's some music playing, and you're hanging out, and you go from station to station getting food, and it is just a good time. No shortage of drinking and eating. And
they usually fill up a garbage can with a couple cases of beer.
Yep.
And by the time we're done, there's usually about a 6-pack that makes its way back in the house.
If you're lucky.
Because there's not many people that actually drink. Because a lot of them come from Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I will partake of a beer or so, but I'm driving, and I'm not the biggest drinker anymore. In my older days at 55, I can drink, but it's not the same for me. I just enjoy hanging out and being part of the group.
You realize jail is a big inconvenience, and paying to get out is a lot of money, man.
Listen, when you work at Rikers Island, I worked at Rikers Island, and I saw it. When you watch a guy in his 60s carry his mattress down a hallway in his underwear, you say, I don't ever want to wind up on this side of the fence.
Why did he have to do that?
He got caught DWI, and he was in jail. And part of that was there's a lot of searches, and one of the searches they do is they make you go down and clear the magnometer. So they you leave your area, you grab your mattress, you drag it down there, and you put it through the mag to make sure that there's no contraband in it. And they make you do it in your underwear to make sure that you don't have anything on you as well. And I watched a guy, he had to be in his mid to late 60s, and he had his droopy white, Fruit of the Loom underwear, carried down the hallway with his shower shoes. And I said, God, if you ever want to have a don't drink and drive message, there it is right there. And that from that point on, I said, I'll never wind up on this side of the bars. So luckily I never did before that or after. But if you ever want to scare the kids straight, take them and spend them a day at Rikers Island. You'll scare them straight for sure. So,
it's a shame, because I think of all the stupidity that I did as younger.
Absolutely.
And today, in today's day and age too, There's some, but not nearly what it once was.
Right.
And when I think of just the driving that I did and the conditions that I've driven it, oh my God.
Oh, I agree with you. I can tell you horror stories. And listen, some of them was when I left you and in our youth and hanging out. And I said it was how I ever got home, but I can think about a dozen times where I went.
I'll tell you one. I don't know if I ever told you this one, man. You're gonna love this one. I was going out with this chick, right? So I wasn't with her this night. So I ended up stopping at a bar that a friend of mine used to work at. It was in a restaurant. So I would go there and drink for free.
Oh, nice.
And just give him a tip.
Okay.
And so, we'd throw a $20 bill up on the counter, and he would just make change at 20 all night.
Right.
And he would just keep feeding you drinks until you were like, that's it, I'm done. So I fucking drank way too much. So now this was out in Dongan Hills area by Staples. So now I'm driving home. Mm-hmm. So I decided, I might as well smoke a bone. So I light up a fucking joint and I'm fucking puffing. I get to Highland and Bay. I lived on Maryland Avenue. We get to Highland and Bay. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is I saw lights and I heard horns. I don't know if I made a turn through the light or what the fuck happened or somebody else. I don't know. I made the turn and then I made the next turn and I went all the way up to the top of the block where I lived and I pulled up in the front of my house and I'm like, oof, man. I says, I need to relax here for a minute. I can't fucking see. I was seeing triple. I put the car in park, thank God. And next thing I know, it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
Holy cow.
Passed the fuck out in front of my house. I wouldn't have been able to make it across the street. Okay, that's how bad it was.
Wow.
So I get into the house. While I was in the house, the girl that I went out with, well, not in the house, in the car, the girl I went out with passed up my block to see if I was home yet.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she was looking for me to see if we could hang out.
Right.
Sometimes she would leave a note on the car and everything else. If she left a note on the car, she would have found me in the bed or found me in the car and passed the fuck out. So I was like, holy shit. I wake up in the morning and I go in the house. And as soon as I walk in, who do I bump into? My mother.
Oh, boy.
And now I had long hair at the time. So my hair, instead of being regular, was flat and pushed up from being like this all night. And she's like, were you asleep in the car? And I'm like, no, I wasn't asleep in the car. Meanwhile, I was asleep in the car. I was like, no, we brought the car home early because usually I designated driver and I let my friends drink. But tonight they let me drink. I brought the car home early and because they saw the car out in the front of the house before they went to bed. And there I was in the car. Not
realizing you were sleeping in the back of it.
Might have been dead. Yeah. It was all bad stuff. And I was like, oh my God.
Boy.
But too many times, stupid stuff. And
yeah, we all have those stories. Believe me, we all have them. So thank God we got to where we are and with, not too bad. So again, guys, thanks for indulging us with, sometimes the show, we just get to talking, two buddies. I'm glad you guys stuck around for it. And we'll keep it going a little longer. But I think it's time to get to a little sports. We've done very little tonight. I got
nothing.
But this is what we are. So if you like it, great. Tell everybody about it. If you don't, hey, I appreciate it anyway. And so I know Jeff does too. So we thank you for kicking in, staying by. But let's get to a little sports now. Jeff, we touched on it very briefly with Jeff Westlake, but your Jets had a huge win. I don't think there's very many people out there who can pat themselves on the back to say that they thought the Jets had any chance. And my thought was going in, I'm going to let you run on it because this is your squad. My thought was if the Jets can keep it within 10 points, it's a successful night. They went out and not only kept it within 10 points, they actually won the game. Jeff, give us your thoughts on a big win for your squad.
Yeah, it was about as big a win as you could possibly get. It was a huge win. They've beaten everybody in division except for the Patriots, but Patriots are in last place. When was the last time Bill Belichick runs Patriots team was in last place at this late in the season?
Real true.
If ever.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, if the Giants did not lose if the Jets did not lose to the Patriots, they would be sitting as the number one seed in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
And whoever thought that was going to happen?
None of us. Not either one of us here. Nobody that I know. I think people were just hoping they would get over 6 or 7 wins, let alone be right on the doorstep of first place.
And here's something that got me too. Okay, yep. and think about this. You know, a lot of people said that they were going to get the number 1 pick in the draft this year.
Yes.
Now, I ain't saying that this is a team that's going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon.
No, inconsistent.
But I just honestly and truly feel completely different about this team. I think this is a different team. I think Salah has got these guys on the right page. I think everything that people were saying about Joe Douglas, I think he's put a lot of the right pieces together. He had a great draft.
Yep.
It's this team. If Breece Hall didn't get hurt, man, I don't know, dude. Who knows how far this team could go?
I agree. But I'll say this, you have to temper it a little bit. You know, it was only a week before that they looked like crap against the Patriots. So while I think this team has a really bright future and could definitely win some games, I think you can easily see the same team from a week before against the Patriots as you could the team that beat the Buffalo Bills. And that's the inconsistency of a young team with a very young quarterback, with a very young coaching staff. They're still finding their way. Can the Jets make the playoffs? Absolutely. Can they scare some people? 100%. But let's be careful. They could still turn into the team that lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, they can. And this week, I forgot who they're playing this week.
They're on a bye this week, which I think
is... So they're not playing anybody. But I think they come back and they play the Patriots again next week, right?
In Foxborough, correct.
So this is going to be a big week for them. Let's see how 100%. They come in on their week off, how they handle it, and if they beat the Patriots, I'm going to start thinking that this is a team that could possibly do some damage. Zach Wilson worries me though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think you have to temper again. If Hall was still playing, I'd feel a little better. I also think that Zach Wilson, while inconsistent, also spends way too much time throwing the ball to just one guy. You know, everything seems to be Garrett Wilson. And again, for us, fantasy, keep throwing them the ball. But for a team, but their defense and their special teams are as good as a lot of people and maybe better than most. I still think they don't have enough offense to compete against the Chiefs of the world. And I think in a healthy Buffalo Bills team, but I think they can creep up on anybody with that defense. I it would not shock me, but I think they can be very inconsistent along the way because they're still learning.
Let me tell you something. That defense, I'm going to give you a couple names over that defense, man, which the fucking Williams brothers, man.
Yes. Quincy Williams does not get enough because Quinnen is great and is sucking up all the air in the room. But Quincy Williams is a good player.
Quinnen Williams is such a dominating force on that defensive line. It's unbelievable, man. And he's in the backfield all the time.
Again, a definite Aaron Donald type player. Can rush the passer and is a beast against the run.
Quincy Williams, the guys, if it ain't Quinnen, it's Quincy.
Yep, I agree.
CJ Mosley, one of the best signings. I remember when they signed him, everyone was like, oh, he's expensive. You know, they paid a lot of money, this, that, and the other thing. He's still playing at a high caliber.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going to happen. Do they re-sign him after? I think this is his last year.
Yeah, I think so. That's a tough one, Jeff. I think it's
he's still playing at a high level, man.
Agreed, but you can only spend so much money, and linebacker is kind of like the running backs. You know, people are spending money on the defensive line and the defensive backs, and that linebacker is a tough spot to spend a lot of money. Now, if they get him in a decent deal, who knows? I agree with you. He's been really good. But the thing the Jets are living and dying right now with those guys up front. They're all playing really well, especially Quinnen. And their safeties and both corners, DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner, are playing lights out back there. And I have to tell you, that's a team that you don't want to face, in a one-game elimination.
No, definitely not. And let me tell you something. If something happens, Russell. There he is.
There he is. Rearing his ugly head. Russell Wilson's number one fan. Frankie, you're regretting it now. Come on, Frank, admit it. Are you regretting Russell Wilson getting traded there? Come on, you got to admit it. He's done.
I'll tell you the truth, dude. I don't think it's so much that you have to regret Russell Wilson gets a really get up, please. This guy's still crying over this. This is how many weeks ago? Stop. I don't think it's who did they have to put around him?
I don't disagree, Jeff, but listen, there was too many years in Seattle that he was mediocre, and now it's, if he goes to Denver and he lights it up, I'd say, all right, maybe. But I mean, he's got Jerry Jeudy, he's got some weapons there. I just think his coach is terrible, and he's not a game changer anymore. If you're a good team, a guy like that will manage a game well enough. I don't think he's good enough to put that team on his back right now.
I don't think the team is good enough for him to put it on his back.
I'm not disagreeing, but he's not good enough to carry that team, and that's what they need up there. And Frankie, you're right. I don't think that guy – I think that guy barely survives the year. He's way over his head. I would be shocked if they gave him – don't forget, this ownership didn't hire him. So I would be a little surprised right now if he makes it through Black Monday. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But sticking with the Jets for a little bit. But Jeff, I think the worst thing that happened to the Jets right now is this bye week, and I'll tell you why. I know it's good to get healthy, get some rest, but coming off that win, you want to play again this week and have the momentum. To me, you lose that momentum. If they go into Foxborough and lose, not that it's a waste, the win, you wasted the win over Buffalo, but it kind of now goes, we sandwiched a great game with two shitty ones against New England. And, Belichick, the guy's scheming, they're good enough to win. And to be honest with you, he's had the Jets number for 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Listen, it's hard to discount anything that you're saying, but, every week that they play is one more week of experience that they get.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're growing as a unit because it's such a young team. They're growing as a unit, and that defense. I'll tell you, if they're not within the top 5 by the end of the year, by next year, I think they come out of the gate. They very well could be a top 5, if not the top defense in the league next year.
Yeah, I see the problem. The problem I have with it though, and I was gonna say a problem. I would say the thing I worry about if I were the Jets is you need to spend your draft capital and maybe some of your free agent capital in the offseason on the offense. You got to get better on the offensive line.
They got to get an offensive line.
Well, that's the point. And I do think, I think the Denzel Mims experiment is over. I think Elijah Moore needs to go. I don't think he's happy. And then you got to hope that Zach Wilson kind of gets it in the next year or so. He doesn't have to be great. He just doesn't have to be dumb. If he just plays well, doesn't have to play great, plays well, and doesn't put the defense in a bad spot, he's going to be okay. I just don't. I'm not sure what he's capable of yet, but I think in the offseason
is just throwing for about 200 yards a game, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, Jeff, I don't think he needs to do much more than that. If they run the ball the way they can, and again, it's gonna be interesting to see how Breece Hall comes back from the injury. But this kid James Robinson, Michael Carter, they can play. So I don't think that's the issue. I think if they run the ball well and they play great defense and the special teams plays well, this Jet team is tough as long as he doesn't make big mistakes like he did.
Well, you know what, Tom, Frank, we'll get to your question in 1 second. The Jets, what they need to do is every once in a while a quarterback needs to be able to get into a shootout. He needs to know what he can do. He needs to know what his weapons are. You can't throw the ball 9 times to Garrett Wilson, and hope he catches 8 of them and gets a touchdown. You're gonna have to one day unload and throw and 350 yards and get 3 or 4 touchdowns. It has to happen. It has to happen.
Oh, I agree.
Manning used to do it. Breeze used to do it. They all used to do it. And it has to happen for his own sake, for his mind. It has to happen.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it happening anytime soon. I don't.
I think the big thing though, Jeff, is by going to one receiver, what you're telling me is you're not running through your read progression and you're fixating on one player. And of course your other receivers are going to be frustrated because maybe they're open. I have no idea if they're open or not. I don't watch enough of I don't dial in fully on the Jet receivers during the game. I watch the Jets play every week. It's something I do. I watch both of the local teams because we talk about it. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jeff, that's you have to tell me. Thank you. But I think for the sanity of his team, you got to, as a good quarterback, you got to get everybody involved. And here's why. Because eventually, at some point, they're going to go, all right, let's take Garrett Wilson out. And he'll either force the ball to him or he won't know what to do with himself, and we'll be able to win. And until he gets Moore and Mims and Wilson and Berrios and Conklin and everybody into the mix, he's going to slow down his growth and the team's growth. So let's see.
They throw the ball to Conklin.
Yep.
They got that other tight end that played Uzmora, I think his name is.
Yeah, the kid who played for the Bengals.
Yeah, I don't even see him play that much.
I think he's been hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
Berrios, he's on special teams. I see him play here and there. But Mims, I don't believe they picked him. I don't think he's Salah's boy.
No, I think it's Douglas's guy, but from the previous administration.
Yeah, but and Elijah Moore they picked last year.
Yeah,
and it's almost like, okay, we're not going to use him. You didn't even try to use Denzel Mims.
Yeah, Mims got a little more involved in last week's game, but Elijah Moore is on the outside looking in, and the guys.
Yeah, but they were talking about Elijah Moore like almost like as a like a bonus thing, like, oh yeah, look, he threw a block.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. He didn't want to play wide receiver so he could block. I know that.
Yeah, but again, if I was the Jets, I would not change too much. I would not put too much on this young kid so far. I would keep running the ball, and I would keep playing great defense. And as it gets colder and the shittier weather, that it'll just be even better. Again, I would just say if you're a Jet fan, be careful. You're going to have. You might have some games like you did last week where the offense wasn't great, but good enough, and the defense was amazing. But then you're going to have some weeks like the week before where you're just bad, and that's just the growing pains of it. And
did you see Frank's question?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, Frankie. You're kind of right. I don't know if it's a strength of schedule thing. I would just say this. I think the Jet offense is a little better. I think they run the ball much better than
a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah, I think they're bigger plays from the running game, not necessarily from the passing game. I think they run the ball better. And I tell you the truth, I think their defense is just a little bit better than yours. Your defense is really good. That's a good team.
Even with Bradley Chubb, whatever his name is, traded.
Yeah, again, I think I don't know at this point. I'm not sure where I place it, but coming up to this point, that's been a good team. I think the Jets do run the ball better, and their dynamic plays come off the run, which is better because less bad things happen when you run the football than when you throw it.
Well, it's better because their quarterback sucks.
Well,
I'm not 100% sold on Wilson. Needs to step it up.
Yeah, but again, you're asking a guy who's played a handful of games in the NFL, to adapt to it this quick. And again, I'm with you. I'm not sold on the kid. I think.
Go ahead, because
I'm just saying I'm not sold on the kid. I don't know if he's bad or good so far. I'm not impressed. Does that mean that he can't flip the switch in a year or some point and be that guy? It's possible. I just haven't seen it yet.
Okay, and how about this as far as Zach Wilson goes?
Yeah.
Okay, he went 5 games at the end of last season. They always talk about how he didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
Okay? That was great. There was days where he didn't even have 100 yards passing. Then he comes back. He gets injured. He comes back after 3 games. He plays okay. They win and everything. But there was a couple games where he wasn't throwing for tremendous yards. Mm-hmm. Okay. He only has, I think 6 touchdown passes or something for the year. But he has 1 game that's bad where he throws 3 interceptions.
Yep.
And then everything stops and everybody's questioning, what is going on with him? Is he bad? He's not progressing. He's not this. He's not that. So does this mean that as the quarterback of the New York Jets, he's never allowed to throw or have a multi-interception game ever? No New York quarterback that has ever won a Super Bowl has ever had a multi-interception game.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Eli Manning almost lead the league 1 year in fucking interception?
Oh, absolutely. The year he won the Super Bowl, they were questioning whether he should be still starting games and whether they should be drafting another quarterback. right up until the playoffs. And then all of a sudden in the playoffs, it turned. And all of a sudden, Eli Manning became a god in Giant Land. But up until that point, they were calling him skittish. He was throwing tons of interceptions. And then all of a sudden in that playoffs.
I don't, and I'll go down with the ship with this one. I don't think that Eli was ever the quarterback that Tom Brady and Peyton was, and
he was a step below that. He was a step below.
I never felt as though that he's going to put the team on his back and carry this team. I'm sure there's games he's did it that I didn't see, but I don't see him as the guy that's going to throw for 300 yards a week with 3 touchdowns and maybe no interceptions or 1 interception. I would say, in my eyes, that he wasn't elite, but he wasn't a scrub either. He was definitely better than average, but he wasn't going to be leading the league in all the offensive categories. But he produced.
Yeah,
he had 2 trophies. There's a lot. Drew Brees has 1.
Yeah,
Brett Favre has 1. Aaron Rodgers has 1.
Yep, absolutely.
He had 2.
Yeah, and he played really well in those games. And there was a time, Jeff, I'm going to say after the first Super Bowl and maybe right up to and just before the second Super Bowl, where Eli, I would have put him in the mix in the top 6 or 7, maybe even top 5. He was playing that well in that point. He had Plaxico Burress. He had a great running game. The offensive line was great at that point. He had a lot of weapons, but after that, the weapons kind of went away, and he wasn't the same guy. But Eli did a lot with a bunch of guys who were never Hall of Famers, and I'll give him that. Again, let's finish up with the Jets, but I don't want to go to the Giants. I want to talk a little bit about hockey, and I want to talk about this article.
Neely, Bruins dropped the ball and signing. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me about that. I didn't see that one.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about that. So. Again, Jets are off this week. I wish they were playing because I would love to see how they come back from that game. If they kind of had a letdown, or would they advance on it? So we'll see. We'll keep your eyes open. AFC East right now technically up for grabs. I mean, Miami's playing good football. The Jets are at their peak and of the season, and Buffalo is still Buffalo. A lot of injuries up there. I'm curious to see how they recover from that this week, but. We'll get to the Giants in a minute. I do want to talk about this before the show's over because this is important. Now, Jeff, you used to be a pretty big hockey fan for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Cam Neely, the hockey player?
Cam Neely, yes, of course.
Okay, Cam Neely was
cut short due to knee injuries, I believe.
Absolutely, one of the best fighters in the league, an instigator, so to speak. Would you say?
I know he was a big point guy. I know he was a power forward.
Yep.
I don't remember what exactly he did, but I know that he was an important player for the Bruins. Let's put it that way.
All right, well, Cam Neely now is the Bruins president. And I guess in part of being his thing is running their drafts and the team. So I'm not the biggest hockey fan. I still watch the Rangers. I kind of I keep a lot of playoff hockey up. But this was interesting to me. So I got a New York Post article, and I'll read you it seemed like the Bruins drafted a kid by the name of Mitchell Miller. And Cam Neely's thing said was basically the team dropped the ball with its internal vetting of Mitchell Miller, ultimately leading to the decision to rescind its contract offer to the defenseman. So there's a young kid that they drafted and they didn't properly vet it. So here's why Mitchell Miller is a cancer. And pay attention to this one, Jeff. The 20-year-old Miller was selected by Arizona in the 4th round of the 2020 draft, but the Coyotes relinquished his draft rights when it was discovered he had bullied a black classmate with developmental disabilities in middle school. I'm slowing that down so let me ask you this question. So now we're going to be judged in our adult years by what we did 11, 10, 12 years old? Is that really if Jeff and I were judged by what we did in that time frame and even a little older, we would be sitting in Rikers or in a class tied to a table with hockey helmets on because people would think we were retarded for the things we did when we were 10 and 12 years old. To sit here now and say that there's a kid at 20 years old who's being judged by what he did, right or wrong. And again, I'm not saying that at 12 years, at any point in his life, he should have been bullying a young kid, black or otherwise, whether he's had developmental issues or not. But Jeff, the fact that this kid at 20, probably 8, 9, 10 years after it happened, is a different person, to say he can't be part of our organization because of what he did then, Jeff, we are living in the island of misfit toys.
Well, you know what, Tom? While I strongly agree with you and everything, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to like look at it from the other side, which is the Bruins side and the Phoenix Coyotes side. Yeah. Whatever it is that he did must have been serious enough for the Phoenix Coyotes to just rescind this offer and not release him, whatever it is that they did with him. I forget exactly what you said.
Yeah, they released him. They rescinded his contract. Then the Bruins picked him up, and then they wound up releasing him.
Okay, so whatever it is he did, it must have been pretty bad if they rescinded the offer.
Yep.
Okay, that's one thing. Second of all, you know, when you think back to when you were 20 years old and you're like, 10 years is a flash in the pan at this point in time. So when you were 10 years old and you said something stupid, and then now here you are at 20, you can't even fucking buy a beer for yourself, or a pack of cigarettes, but yet you could travel around the world and play hockey.
Yep.
Whatever it is you said must have been, must have touched a nerve with somebody, is the only thing that I can think of.
Okay.
As to why two organizations are walking away from it. Is it sad? It is sad, but it's also sad because the organizations are probably afraid to turn around to take this kid on one way or another, thinking that with the backlash that they may face, do they have any black players that this kid, if he signs and he makes the mother team, that he has to go and apologize for something that he said 10, 12 years ago? I'm not saying that the kid is exonerated. I don't know what he said. I don't know how bad it was. Maybe he picked on this kid for months and months and months. Maybe this kid to this day is still sitting in the dark end of the closet crying because of what was said to him. I don't know. It doesn't justify it, but I don't know. Like when do you let go of something that somebody did?
Yeah.
And at least give them the chance and let them see what, maybe this person is different.
Yeah, I think, listen, if you told me that you drafted a guy, he turned out to be an asshole, and you were up in the air whether you wanted to keep him or not, and then you went back into history and said, well, he's been an asshole for 15 years since he was a kid, he's never going to change, I get it. I don't know Mitch Miller, or what's this kid's name again? Yeah, Mitchell Miller. I don't know him. I don't know if he's a good guy, a bad guy. I'm going to go under the pretense that he's a decent guy. And he's a professional hockey player. But I can't imagine that at this day and age, that what some kid did, some adult did when he was 10, 11, 12 years old, and I have no idea. It says middle school. So middle school, you're 10, 11, 12 years old, that would warrant, short of, I can't even imagine, at that point, you can't, at some point you got to say, who is he now? And I just don't get, I guarantee you, Jeff, all the people who decided to let him go, if we went back to their 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years, and we found out what they did, they probably wouldn't have a job either based on the scales of justice that they're using. And I think this is part of the woke culture that what's next? We're going to go back to kindergarten and find out, that you spilled your paint on little Sally next to you and you left. Jeff, what? At some point we gotta go. He's a kid, wrong, right, wrong, or different. Who is he now? If he's bullying little black kids now, or adults with learning disabilities, I get it. I'm all throw him out the window. But if I'm going to judge people on what they did 10, 11, 12 years old, the people judging me, the people that are judging him, need to step up and say what they did then and see if they still have their job. That's the question.
Tom, listen, there is no justifying any of this to me. I just don't see it. It's Frank, you're 100% right. But how serious did he burn the kid's house down?
All it says is
did he show up with a white sheet over his head? Like, what could he have done?
He bullied a kid with learning disabilities who was black. Again, here's the first problem.
And then
that it was black.
What's the learning? Yeah, but what's the learning disabilities? Did this kid maybe not have an internet connection at home?
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe that's considered a learning disability.
But here's the difference. What if he had bullied a white kid with learning disabilities? Would that have been okay? Would he have gotten cut because of that? Is it because the kid was black and had learning disabilities? Like, to me, in that sentence, the fact that the kid was black is irrelevant. I'm sorry. To me, the kid black is irrelevant.
For most normal people, it would be irrelevant.
Right.
But the story it's the same as
agree.
if he just bullied a kid. He bullied a kid. It's nobody, he bullied a black kid. Holy shit.
That's the point of it, Jeff. I agree with that. To me, the story is not whether the kid was white, black, Chinese, or other. The fact that he bullied a kid with learning disabilities would bother me more to start with. It doesn't matter what color the kid was or what race he was. He still bullied somebody. At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, 12 years later, 10 years later, should Mitch Miller be held accountable for what he did as a child? I'm sorry. I can't fathom it. Again,
how about when they go back in these people's Twitter accounts?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they say, well, so-and-so used the N-word when he was 10 years old. Yeah, but he's 35 now.
Yeah.
So what is the point here? What are you proving?
Correct. I'd say, and any one of us
sat there and fucking scrolled for how many years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, I think it comes down to there's very few people in this world, whether you're standing here with you and me or listening to us or whatever, who at some point in their life didn't do something. I mean, listen, I spent half my childhood making fun of people that I probably should never have made fun of. Right? We both had many a laugh at some of the people who were a little slower when we look at it now. Back then, they were just part of the neighborhood, and we goofed on them, and that's what we did. Is that going to keep me from getting a job? I don't know.
That's what all kids did. That's what we all did. It's what everybody did. Okay?
I agree.
Something, those same kids that you made fun of,
we
didn't make fun of them to the point where we caused them to jump off a building or, they did something stupid. They all went home. They came back the next day.
I agree with you. But
you know what I mean? So it was just what kids did.
But this kid who today is being judged by a bunch of guys who are our age who did the exact same thing when we were kids.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm just saying, and I'm not making excuses for anybody.
I got you.
It's just what I'm saying, though, is just, did we make fun of people? Yes, we did.
Absolutely.
Did we get made fun of by some other people? Yes,
100%.
we did. 100%. And you know what happened? The kids that we made fun of came back the next day. We came back the next day. So you know that, oh shit, so-and-so is going to be there. He busted my balls today. He's going to bust my balls again. And did he? Yes, he did. But yet he kept going back. He kept coming back for more.
Absolutely.
Okay? This kid here that, I don't know. Evidently, it wasn't a one-time thing. Did he keep coming back? Oh, evidently. But what did he do? Did he physically bully him? Did he mentally bully him? If he mentally bullied him, what did he do? Call him Bubba from Forrest Gump or something? I don't know.
Yeah. I just don't think you can hold again, if he's the same person now and he's still bullying people or he's an asshole, I kind of get it. You haven't changed. But if the guy's a different guy or has nothing in his life that would warrant you, without knowing that story, that you would want you getting rid of him, I'm sorry, I just can't see going back. Jeff, I interview people for jobs all the time. People come to my company and I ask them a million questions, and I never once have gone back and said, when you were 12, did you bully somebody? When you were 10, did you make fun of somebody you weren't supposed? To me, it sounds like a ridiculous thing. I can only judge somebody who they are today, and unless there's some sort of thing in his closet where you find out that he was a serial rapist of children at 14 and 15, then you go, oh, the guy's not right. I can't have that guy around in my locker room. I get it, but if the kid was just a moron and did a bunch of stupid things as a child, and he's a different person as an adult, I just, to me, it just you can't hold that on it.
You can't even turn around. I mean, we'll have to investigate this more.
Yeah.
But you can't even turn around and say that the kid was stupid for doing it, because let's say that there was one day he said something to this kid and somebody else overheard it and say, yeah, I heard him say that. Okay, but was it a long-term thing? Nah, I just heard it the once. And what happened there? Well, he went off about his normal business and went down the other end of the ice, and he stayed there. He didn't come back. You know what I mean? It's who the fuck knows, man.
I got you, and you're right. Frankie and Ray just could use anybody. They can use me and Jeff at this point, so we'll see what happens. Last story tonight, guys, and thanks for hanging in there with us. But Jeff, they're trying to force this guy Snyder. I know he's interested in selling the team, but boy, they got congressional hearings on him. They got the NFL's holding hearings on him. They just want him out, and now. They're talking about Jeff Bezos, I think he's one of the world's richest men, if he's not the richest, and JC plan to bid on the Commanders. And boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you, that's just wokeism to the highest extent, bringing these guys in. And boy, I don't know. I hope Dan Snyder finds a pair of balls someplace and tells them to go scratch and brings back the old Redskins and pisses in their Cheerios, because I gotta tell you. You bring in Jay-Z. I mean, this guy. I just don't get where he's the moral judge of society now, boy. I gotta tell you, I just
keep going on, because I'm gonna look something up and I'll tell you why. But go on.
But again, guys. So that's the big thing. They're trying to push this guy out. Listen, I'm not a big Daniel Snyder fan. I think he's ruined the Redskins. I think he's a terrible owner. But I give the guy a pair of balls for years. He hung on to that Redskins name when everybody else wanted to make him change it, and he hung in there till the very end with it. And then he acquiesced and changed the name and all of that stuff, and they still want to run the guy to town. And you know what? To me, I put the pox, the Maloika on the Commanders, the Redskins, whatever you're calling them. I hope they just have 100 years of bad luck and they never win.
Well, here's one thing that just kind of silliness, but I just looked up the last album he put out, and the last album that Jay-Z put out was in 2017.
Yep.
So just curious. It seems as though that his career of putting out albums and being a recording artist may be over.
Yeah.
And, I don't even know how old Jay-Z is.
I have no idea. Probably in his 40s, I would imagine. Maybe.
He's older than that.
You think so? You think he's in the 50s?
I know that. He was born in 69. So.
Oh, wow. So he's 52, 53 years old at this point. Yeah.
53. Yeah. You're going to be 54.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, listen, whatever.
It's basically the gangster story's over.
Yeah, I guess. And the fact that he's going to buy into a football team with Jeff Bezos, and it's going to be, the wokeisms are going to be there, and I listen. I'm no fan of the Redskins now. I hope they keep losing, and I wish the monkeypox on their franchise. That's what I look at.
Listen, you say that about them losing and. Wokeism going to be there, but it's already in the NFL.
Oh no, you're 100% right, but it'll be personified. I mean,
that's why it says "end racism" in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I don't. We talk. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the air, but they have a coach, Jack Del Rio. I never thought he was much of a head coach. Pretty decent player in his day, really good defensive coordinator, and he gave an interview before camp about. He thought that the January 6th hearings were a waste of time, and he had he's a conservative guy, and he somebody asked him a question and he answered it. And his coach Ron Rivera, who can't get fired fast enough, I despise amongst despising people, and that guy made him go out and apologize for having his own point of view. And I swear to you, I can't wait for the day that somebody realized that Ron Rivera is a terrible coach, and they do away with him. And that guy's a piece of shit. He's just a straight up piece of shit. He's the moral majority all of a sudden. So that's my rant on the Redskins.
Yeah, well, Tom, it's unfortunately
I got it. You're right. You're
mean?
right. We're stuck with it right now. You're right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Looking up his career coaching record is 90 wins, 82 losses, and 1 tie.
Yep. Yeah. Just an average guy, never done much. 1 Super Bowl appearance, got beat up in it. And again, he's done nothing here. Keeps bringing in the wrong quarterbacks, keeps drafting defensive linemen, and they're just a terrible team. And I can't wish them. I can't wish them any more losses than I can. So hopefully they just keep losing and losing and losing. Here's a guy who hated, who railed against this guy to change the name of the team, but yet when he took the job, they were the Redskins. But you took the job, right? You took the money.
Listen, I should have sent you this article. I'm sorry I didn't. But when the Redskins were when their inception came in and they drew their logo up, did you know that Indian was a real person?
Yes, that was a drawing by an Indian artist of an actual person. Yes.
Yeah, it was a drawing of an Indian by an Indian to honor the said Indian.
Yeah.
And when who did he lose to? You just walked right into that.
I know who it was.
You walked right into that.
He was setting it right up.
He just wanted to see you say it, man. He got you good.
I love Cadillac.
Oh my God. I would have said I don't know. I gotta look at it.
But no, you're right. And it was not over the years there was so little people, especially in the Indian culture, who cared about it. To me, if you don't like it, don't watch the team, don't root for them. So again, it's the woke culture. And if I'm offended by something or I don't like something, guess what? I don't support it. And that's what you should do.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay? And Frankie, you chime in too on this one, please. We're all adults here. If you don't like something, you don't eat it, you don't watch it, you don't use it, you don't buy it, you don't pay for it, whatever. Okay. When you look at basketball, I'm not a basketball guy. Okay. But basketball, you have to understand somebody like, say, LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Okay. The guy made it to the NBA Finals. What was it like? Something like 10 years in a row or some shit like that?
It's been at 9 times, I think, in his whole
time. Yeah. Okay. So,
years in a row.
You know what? Even though he's never going to win as many as Michael Jordan, and never be the same player as Michael Jordan. On the other hand, you have to give him his due. The guy went to how many 9 times he's been to the NBA Finals or whatever it is. You don't just get there by accident, because you picked the right team when you were a free agent. Okay, it was his skill is what got him there. You don't have to like the guy as a player. You don't even have to watch him. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. By the way, they still sell that in. I've seen it in the stores. I don't think it's called. They've changed the name. The Pearl Milling Company's Aunt Jemima did. Mrs. Butterworth's still out there. You can still find it, but
I have a thing of pancake batter and a syrup.
I bought it for you.
And you were the one that bought it?
I bought it for you. Yes,
I still have it. Do you still have yours?
I still have mine. Absolutely.
I will never open it.
I will never open it. It'll stay in my closet forever. Absolutely.
I'm hoping one day to have grandkids and maybe to have one that's a little fucked up and leave that to him.
That'll be. Yes, and Frankie, I think LeBron James is one of the physically most talented players I've ever seen. I can't stand him, and he is no Michael Jordan. Anybody who tells you never watched Jordan play. So there's a big difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Big time.
Sorry to say it, but that's where we'll end it tonight, folks. It's getting late. It's 9:30. We're going to end the show right here. I can't believe how fast it went. And Jeff, I would tell you, this was absolutely one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, well, definitely, man. Well, listen, anytime we start talking about Christmas and the holidays, it's a good thing. I got my tree right here next to me.
I'm going to be putting mine up this weekend. The tree's going up this weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah, Frankie, absolutely. Tree's going up. I might not light it, but the tree's going up. We're going to do the decorations. I'm going to get, it's going to be a Snoopy themed. I'm going to get all different Snoopy characters under the tree this year.
You know what I got today?
What?
It's coming soon. I bought 2 Peanuts things for the house. Yeah, I forget. I can't remember what they were because I don't want to be too fixated on it.
I got you.
I'll have to check later on Amazon. But one is like a tree with a couple of the characters next to it. You know, Lucy and Snoopy, and I think Charlie Brown. So every year I have my fucking Charlie Brown section.
Yep.
So this year my wife told me, because the table that I set it up on, I'm not using this year.
Okay.
I have it in a different area of the house. And my wife was like, "Oh, I got a folding table outside." She was like, "Put the folding table up." And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Okay." So I bought one when I was away, right before we went away, and I got to check at CVS for another one that comes out. They usually come out in twos every year.
Okay.
And then I bought this other stuff. One is a couple characters like Charlie Brown. You remember in the Snoopy, It's Christmas Time, Charlie Brown, or whatever it is, where Sally has the clipboard. She wants Charlie Brown to write out her list.
Yes.
Well, I have those two characters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then I got the tree. And then I set it up, and I got like a whole bunch of stuff like this. I got a whole bunch of, little ornaments. This one I just have here. This was just extra. And I set it all up. And then I have my Charlie Brown cups and glasses that I use. I'm a big Charlie Brown guy. What can I tell you?
I agree. And this year, the tree, the theme under the tree will be Charlie Brown. I will get as much stuff as I can, and that'll be it from this point on. I'm going to get a little bit of that and then a little bit of the Rudolph characters in there as well. But it'll be pretty much Charlie Brown, and I'm looking forward to it. We're going to put the tree up on Sunday morning. We're going to get up. We're going to have a little breakfast, put the tree up, and watch a lot of football that day. And we kind of toying whether we're going to light it or not. I finally bought some inflatable stuff for outside, which I've never done before. But I finally have a power source outside, which my dad helped me with when we did the Florida room. So in the back of my house, we have a few things that we can light up this year, and I'm going to do it up right. So we'll have some fun, and I'll take some photos and post it. But I'm looking forward to the holidays more this year than I think I have in a long time. I'm just pumped up for the holidays. And, of course, spending it with my buddy and you guys every Thursday night is a great way to do it. And look forward to we're going to have a Christmas show this year. I've already invited some people on. Jeff Westlake. I've reached out to a couple other people to see if I can get them to come on and do some Christmas stuff for us that night. And, of course, we'll bring it to you as we go. Jeff, real quick, how's things with the Remorons? We are in business. I also saw you doing a little bit of stuff with the Grazianos.
No, the Remorons is on life support right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You learned 80 songs for a 15-minute set now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what's going to happen with that.
Boy.
I'm hoping we're hoping everything works out and stays together.
Well, we'll see. Keep us updated on that. I'll assume that the 30th is on life support.
Right now, the 30th is still a go. I'm the one that's like, no, we could do it. Everybody else is like, no, I don't know, because beat this. We got to a patch of thin ice. I don't know what's going to happen. We want to forge ahead and at least do this show at the very least.
All right.
And I'm hoping, man, because I think a lot of people would look forward to it, man. Would want to see it.
I would agree. A pre New Year's Eve bash, I would definitely be at it, and hopefully we get all the boys to come out and spend some time. And by the way, you need to start putting out there the invite for the annual thing and start picking a date for our jam, because we need to have this. Will be the 10th one we have, and we need to have it this year.
Yeah, listen, we'll talk about that off the air.
I'll leave that up to you, but yes, let's talk about it off the air and start putting some out there to the boys and start picking some dates that we can make it happen. I need to start getting my ass onto the guitar, start practicing and relearning some of these old songs I haven't played in a while. But we'll get to that. But again, guys, listen, thanks to Jeff Westlake, everybody, Carrie Boyce, Catalano, Matt, everybody who checked in with us tonight. Thanks for tuning in and watching the show with us. Thank you for putting up with my my rant early in the show. I know it's not a big politics show, but I had to get it off my chest, and now it is. And hopefully we'll be able to do less politics and more holiday stuff along the way. Thanks to my dad. Thanks to Lucas, who made it his first appearance on the show. And happy birthday to my boy Lukey. Going to go hang out with him after the show. And, of course, thanks to my partner, my best bud, Mr. Jeff Talwinski, for 2 hours and 30-something minutes of show. And this was probably one of my favorite of all time, I would tell you flat out. So,
yeah.
Hefe, I'll give you the final word.
Listen, man, already looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. So guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a little chillier out next week. So be dressed warm. A lot of good football over the weekend, and start looking out for the holiday shows, including ours at the end of December. Holiday music has not made it to FM yet, but it is all over Sirius. So if you got a Sirius account, I'm listening to Holly and Hallmark all day.
It's not on 106.7 yet.
I checked it this morning. It's not there yet. So I don't know when they're kicking it off. I don't listen enough, but I'll update everybody. But it's coming. So do me a favor.
Let's see. Go on. Keep going.
That's it. So again, guys, enjoy the holiday. No Jet games. The Giants are on this weekend. They play the Texans at 1:00. So make sure you're watching the Giants. Lots of good college games coming up, getting toward the end of the year. It's upside down this year. No Alabama in the playoffs. Lots of crazy shit in the college world, but lots of good sports. Again, good weather for the weekend. Not so great weather next week. A little chilly, but make sure you come on back to the Hard Rock and Sports Show next Thursday night when Jeff and I do this all over again. So for Jeff Talwinski, myself, and everybody here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, I say thank you for tuning in, and make sure you have a great weekend and a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday. Jeff, you got anything else?
Yeah, I have the when the Christmas music may start.
Okay.
On 106.7 late this year, December 5th.
Wow, that is very late. They're usually at the very least Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I would thought that it was actually before Thanksgiving.
Let me tell you something. Last couple of years, it was early. I'd have to go back and check. I'm almost positive it was already started by now. But to start December 5th, boy, that's a little rough. But that's okay for me. I got Sirius. There's a ton of channels. I got 2 I stick with. But we're going to try to get some Christmas music on and some live guests for you. I'll keep me and Jeff will keep you updated on that as we go along. So again, for Jeff Towinski, myself, and everybody at Hard Rock and Sports, have a great night, a great weekend, and a great week. We'll see you back here next Thursday when we do this all over again. Hefe, have a great one, pal. Talk to you off the air.
Later, man.
Later, man.
Bye.